tradition.
Here he goes! See you later! And he's got it! Touchdown! Touchdown!
ABC Sports, Championship Television.
And is there any better place to start our 39th consecutive season of college football than the place where they sing Hail to the Victors? Welcome to the Big House in Ann Arbor. Number 7 Michigan taking on Miami of Ohio. Hi everyone, Mike Tirico. We have a breaking story here in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines are going to start a true freshman quarterback. Word getting out about an hour ago. We'll tell you the impact of Chad Henne starting, why he's starting, and hear from Lloyd Carr when Tim Brandt and Terry Bowden join us in a couple of minutes. But first to New York. And John Saunders in the studio. John's got some new partners and a new dance floor to work on. John.
Which two teams will strut their stuff and perform in perfect rhythm when the dance card for Miami is filled out in December? Florida State has been the Samba Kings of the ACC for more than a decade, but the dance floor is suddenly crowded as Miami and Virginia Tech have shuffled into the ACC. Georgia hasn't had many missteps the past couple of years, but the Dogs must find a way to slide past the defending SEC and national champion LSU Tigers. A styling pack of fleet-footed wide receivers has Michigan the talk of the Midwest, but their success hinges on their new quarterback. The beat in the nation's heartland has been dominated by the Sooners lately, and with Heisman Trophy winner Jason White returning, Oklahoma appears in perfect tune. Will anybody accept the challenge to tango with big bad USC out west, or will the men of Troy just waltz to a second straight national championship? The season-long bump and grind will take many twists and turns, leaving only 2 teams standing. The Fall Dance Party begins next on ABC Sports.
And welcome everyone to the Ford pregame. As you can see, we have left Times Square. Our digs for the last 3 or 4 years, but state of the art right here. John Saunders, Craig James. We already had a running back in the pony here, but you have to have someone block for you. So we brought in Aaron Taylor. And how about these credentials? 2-time All-American in Notre Dame, the 93 Lombardi Award winner, and then he moved on to the NFL, got a Super Bowl ring with the Green Bay Packers. Aaron, welcome to the crew.
Well, I tell you what, guys, it feels good to be here. First of all, I want to thank my parole officer for getting me this job as part of the work release program. But of the 3 levels that I've played football, in high school was the purest, professional was the most demanding, but by far my time in college was absolutely the most exciting. It's good to be back in the mix, and I think it's going to be a great year.
We look forward to breaking you in here. John and I will be very good to you. We're going to send you great notes. We'll give you all the best nuggets we can.
Here, I'm going to be the rookie again. I can tell already.
Have you seen the game home, baby?
Before every game, I'm told, since high school. We hope you didn't do that today. Back to your game in a moment.
The Ford pregame, brought to you by the next Ford Super Duty, coming September 9th. Smarter, stronger, tougher. The next Super Duty, built Ford tough. We'll be back after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
The 125th edition of the Wolverines take the field at the Big House. Are you ready for the season to begin? We'll be back with kickoff from Ann Arbor in a moment. Back here in Ann Arbor, 110,000 to see Michigan take on Miami of Ohio. John Navarre was the quarterback for 4 years here. Matt Gutierrez was supposed to replace him. Gutierrez hurt this week. True freshman Chad Henne starts. Here's Susie Schuster to talk about that with Lloyd Carr.
Mike, thanks very much. Coach Carr, how does this change in quarterback affect your game plan today?
Well, from a protection standpoint, we need to do some things to help Chad. But other than that, we're going to do the things that he did best during training camp. He picked things up very well, and for a young guy, he's got a lot of moxie.
All right, Coach Carr, best of luck today. Mike, back to you.
Thank you, Susie. Good to have you with us. And, guys, we'll be spending Saturday with Terry Bowden, Tim Brandt. Guys, looking forward to a great season.
Good to see you, Mike.
Well, Coach, right away, you're the coach, and you find out on Thursday, and the team finds out. The people in the stadium don't even know this. A true freshman's going to start. What does it do to your game plan?
Well, first of all, Chad Henne has had 29 practices in his career at Michigan. No way in 2 or 3 days can you do everything to prepare him for this football game, but there's 3 things you can do. You can make the play calling simplified so he doesn't have to make decisions that are very difficult to himself. You establish that running game early so you take the pressure off the quarterback. And thirdly, don't be afraid on 3rd and long to run the draw and punt it if you have to.
It doesn't matter who starts at quarterback, Coach. This is a confident Miami team that comes into the big house today. And they've got a new quarterback as well, Josh Betts. He takes the place of Roethlisberger, who was sensational. But last week, Betts went 17 of 27, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and folks, he's surrounded by speed. There's Larkin, career record holder for receptions. Martin Nance, he's single-season record holder. You've got Robinson, he's dangerous with speed everywhere. They've got to get first downs, move the chains, melt the clock, shorten the game. If they can do that, then they've got a chance here today.
Well, Timmy, it's going to be a difficult day to play as well. It's very humid here. The humidity is up in the 80s, and so too is the temperature. Miami won the toss, defer the option to the second half, so Michigan will receive. Todd Soderquist is the kickoff man for Miami of Ohio with the nation's longest win streak, 14 consecutive games. Marcus Curry, along with Pierre Rember, the backup running back, to receive for Michigan. Each team won the conference championship last year. Both are favored in their leagues this year. Off we go from the big house in Ann Arbor. It is towards Marcus Curry, the senior, and he is advised to keep it in. Very well by Pierre Rember. Well, as I said, the people in the building have heard about Chad Henne. They don't know he's starting. Nobody knew until early this morning. Matt Gutierrez was injured. He came to Lloyd Carr on Wednesday, said his shoulder was bothering him. Didn't practice Wednesday, didn't practice Thursday, and here comes the true freshman Henne.
Mike, I'll tell you, right now, his heart is in his throat. He's seeing dots when he looks across that line of scrimmage.
There's a lot of hype, a lot of pub about this kid. Very high-level recruit. Hands off to David Underwood. And the man who has to replace the best running back in the country last year, Chris Perry, picks up 9 yards. So Underwood, the senior out of Texas, only 270 yards last year. He has to be so good. Also on the Outback Steakhouse starting lineups, Kevin Dudley, a fullback who just blocks, never carried in his Michigan career. Braylon Edwards, one of the best in the country. Avante Strong as well. Tim Massaquoi, the tight end. Up front, Stenovich, Boss, maybe one of the top guards in the nation. Mark Beal in the middle. Matt Lynch, the right guard. And Matt Kaloje, the junior, who's a new starter in at right tackle. 2 plays, 2 runs for Underwood. 3.5 yards shy of the first down. A 3rd down coming up. Matt Pusateri made the stop. Gives us a chance to check that Miami defense. Good crew last year. They were in the top 25 in points allowed in the NCAA. Tremaine Sills, John Glavin, Will Roof added some bulk up front along with Jared Rich. The linebackers, BC, Rehaid, and Turner. 9 and 28, Darrell Hunter. A lot of man coverage, a lot of pressure against the good Michigan receivers. 3rd and short. Underwood eludes the first tackle, cannot get to the corner, and it's 3 and out for Michigan right away.
Mike, this is a speed defense for Miami, and although Miami doesn't have Terrell Jones or Will Stanley anymore, this is an aggressive linebacker core. They read, they react, and I mean they get there in a hurry.
Every Michigan player we talked to in our interviews on Thursday talked about the incredible speed that Miami has on defense, more like a Big Ten team.
Big-time play by Darrell Hunter. He's the fastest guy in Miami since they started keeping records back in the 1970s.
So 3 and out, guys, and Adam Finley will come on to kick it away, and he kicks it to a dangerous man, Ryan Robinson. 4 career punt returns for touchdown, including 1 last week.
They're going to kick to him, too. Lloyd Carr said, if we try to kick away, we'll probably shank it.
Good punt. Nice driving, tight spiral. 51 yards of punt, 2.
Look out.
Robinson got 1 seam and another. Good field position for Miami. They'll take over at the 40. 15 on the returns. That's a good net, 36 yards. So Miami of Ohio had Ben Roethlisberger, 3 years, stud quarterback, first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers, going to back up Tommy Maddox there in Pittsburgh. So they turn it over to Josh Betts, a junior who's been around the program, around the system, got to learn a lot from Ben Roethlisberger, and this kid from out of the Dayton, Ohio area stepped in nicely. I know it was Indiana State, a AA opponent, but he threw for 214 yards, as Timmy told you at the beginning, and 3 touchdowns.
He also played 9 games last year, Mike, so I mean, it's not like he hasn't been in a big-time game before.
Good field position to start from the 40. Betts to the air right away. His tight end, Dan Tyler, is met by Marlon Jackson, a senior who didn't have to come back to school, could have been in the NFL, came back, and he is primed for a big season. Miami's offensive lineup to go with the quarterback, Josh Betts. You have Mike Smith, the running back, who was pretty solid last year. Picked up 800 yards and 21 career touchdowns. That's a key part of Shane Montgomery's offense. This is a good offensive coordinator who built a nice package of spreading it out, but still the ability to run last year when they lived off Roethlisberger. Second and 8. That's throw. Dangerous. Incomplete. Martin Nance, the intended receiver. Marcus Curry was there on coverage. He almost led him into a big hit, almost led him into an INT.
Welcome to the big house. We get right out of the blocks. We see Marlon Jackson with a big hit. They go to the other side, and Curry has a big hit.
Let's talk about some of those guys up front there. I mentioned Mike Smith, the running back. Nance, the receiver they just threw to. He's good. R.J. Corbin. Michael Larkin is related to Barry Larkin. Dan Tyler, the tight end. On the Outback Steakhouse lineup, you see the front with Tracian, Raker, Londot, Bunks, and Norton. 3 of those 5 are returning starters. They need to get to midfield to keep the drive alive. Nice handoff out of the pass formation, but Mike Smith is stopped for a loss of a yard by Lawrence Reed. One of 4 awesome linebackers here at Michigan. The Wolverine defense answers with its own 3 and out.
Well, they're great defensive linebackers. They got great speed. They've got experience. They're counting on them to be one of their strongest units.
Terry, I think the best thing about this defense is the way they tackle. They wrap their arms. They don't miss tackles. He misses that tackle, they get the first.
Mike Wassing's the kicker. That's Steve Breston. He has a little Stevie Wonderful in him. He is a special return man. And you're going to get a chance to show it here from the 18. Well covered by Miami of Ohio. Michigan will take over at its own 25. That punt 41, return 7 yards. So the true freshman gets his second series back on the field under center for Big Blue when we come back. This is the 5th year for Terry Hepner as the head coach at Miami of Ohio. What a great season last year, best in program history. 13-1. Ranked 10th in the nation when all was said and done, and dominated Louisville in their bowl game, 49-28. Good, solid program has been done. First pass attempt of the career of Chad Henne is incomplete, intended for Kevin Dudley, the fullback, and a strong defensive secondary and linebacker, John Beasing there to make the play for Miami of Ohio.
That's a pretty tough one to start with. A guy in your face and have to throw the ball out in the flat with a defender right on him. That's a tough play to start.
I can guarantee you, Miami's not intimidated. As a matter of fact, they're reading their keys. They're getting to the ball. They're flying around the field here at the Big House. Not intimidated at all. It's a team with a great deal of confidence.
They talked about blitz and all kinds of coverage for McIntyre. Now here's a true freshman. Imagine what they're going to do.
Keep coming. Everything you're going to bring some more. Second and 10 for Michigan. Here it comes. Screen set up. Perfect. And snuffed out. They've got some speed on this defense in addition to the size, as Tim talked about. Loss of 3 as Tremaine Sills came off the defensive end to make the play as the pass was thrown to Pierre Rembert, the backup running back.
Came with the blitz to the backside, rotated into the formation side, just stayed with the receiver and made the play. This is perfect.
Thoughtful play calling, too, because a screen is a safe pass for a quarterback to throw to get the jitters out before he starts going downfield.
There's the backside pressure, and then they just covered on the strong side.
Now 3rd and a dozen. Steve Breston, one of the 3 receivers in. He's in motion. And he's hit as he threw, and it's incomplete.
Almost picked off. Are you kidding me? Beasing had it in his hands, Mike.
And again, Timmy, pressure from the secondary. Red, the defensive backup cornerback coming in. So they are going to show lots of people, lots of pressure from lots of places.
Like we talked about their team speed. They're one of the fastest teams in the country, longest win streak in the country. They did put in a handful of blitz packages just for this game. And as Terry said, young quarterback, they're really going to bring the house.
Second punt for Adam Finley, 2 3 and outs for Michigan. Ryan Robinson back to receive.
He almost broke that first one.
Good pressure, had to get rid of it quick. Robinson for the 41, had some blocking here. Picked them all up. Ryan Robinson flags her down. He's going to go all the way into the end zone for a touchdown, but again, we have penalty markers down.
I cannot believe it. It's a block in the back, and it's a good call, but that's his third touchdown return of the year that he's had called back.
Yep.
Had 3 yesterday, and this was a problem last year. The 2 losses at Michigan came with kicking game breakdowns. One of those, a game in which they gave up punt return for a touchdown against Oregon.
Took 3 to the house last week, 2 called back, 1 stood up. This was a block in the back. Good call.
Dennis Lipsky, Big Ten official.
Illegal block in the back, number 18 of the return team. That penalty be enforced, 10 yards, first down.
That's Adam Cyborowski. He had the penalty, and if you're watching your first college game of the year, you'll hear, like the NFL, the number of the player who committed the foul from now on. New rule.
Here it comes now. You watch, the wall sets up, and there's the block in the back right there. Good call. But again, it negates. At that point, you got to rely on his speed. Let him do it with his moves and avoid the block in the back.
Some people thought Miami would give Michigan a game. Michigan's going to get a game, I think, here in the Big House this afternoon. No score. The ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you from Ann Arbor by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Pacific Life offering insurance, annuities, and investments. And Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Mike Tirico, Tim Brandt, Terry Bowden, Susie Schuster joining us on the sideline. Ryan Robinson, as Tim mentioned, Terry Hepner's great punt returner in his second year, brought back 2 kicks that were called back in the opener against Indiana State last week. And there's another one called back for the block in the back a moment ago.
How do you think he feels? I mean, those are all-American numbers that they've taken away from him.
He's also feeling pretty good about getting his hands on it the next time. So Josh Betts in the Miami offense in good field position for this drive again. They start from the 38. Luke Clemens, the backup tailback, picks up 3 yards. They have a stout test. This Michigan defense was the best in the Big Ten last year. They are very good again this year. I believe there's a question area, guys. It could be up front. They've gone to essentially a 3-4. A little thin in number of linemen. Talent's there in Harrison, Gabe Watson, Pat Massey. You'll see other guys in there, but this is where they're so strong. Manning, Reed, Scott McClintock, Pierre Woods, some great linebackers to be on the field. In the secondary, Marlon Jackson moves back to corner from safety. Ryan Mundy, sophomore speedster, moves in to the free safety spot. 2nd and 7. That's incomplete. Try to get it in between the layers of that defensive secondary in the zone as the pass was thrown over Josh Williams' head.
Like they call it a 3-4. Still, not much has changed. They're just going with more speed, more linebackers, and I think part of that is the way USC just out-quicked them in the bowl game, much quicker.
Well, those big linemen you're talking about, they are bigger, but the question is, can they move? Are they quick? Can they get off blocks? And Josh Betts, he's a guy that can scramble and get outside like that time. Linemen have to move vertical down the line of scrimmage, horizontal down the line of scrimmage.
Jim Herman, you saw there, the defensive coordinator, one of the best in the nation. It was a great group. 3rd and 7, defense is settling in early. Inside handoff to Clemens. Nowhere near the first down, and that's another one of those good linebackers, Lawrence Reed. Honorable mention all Big Ten. The senior out of Ohio forces the second Miami of Ohio 3 and out.
It's going to be a year of defense in the Big Ten. 6 of the top 7 quarterbacks from last season are gone in this conference. Top 3 rushers are gone as well. Again, just staying home, looking at, finding it. Reed's there. Reed reacts inside out. Bingo. Nice play.
Wofsy Jacobs again. Reston back for the return. Reston took a couple back for a touchdown last year. From the 8. Reston picks up a few blocks. And the sophomore from North Braddock, Pennsylvania, takes it out to the 27-yard line. 49 on the kick, 17 on the return. We have good defenses, good uncover teams. Questions at quarterback. Exactly the way the first 6 minutes is played out.
Still scoreless in Ann Arbor, and part of the reason is they've got a true freshman starting at quarterback. What do you do to get him to settle in? You keep handing the ball off. You get him some confidence early. Don't let him make any bad mistakes that can hurt the team. Bottom line, 9 yards on the first play, -5 the last 5 plays.
Long yardage situations are exactly what you don't have, because then you're forced to put him in tough situations.
David Underwood back in there at tailback. He takes it up to the 29-yard line. Matt Pusateri with the tackle. Guys, give me your feel for this Michigan team. Very good on the offensive line, seemingly always are. Tight ends are strong. Lloyd Carr said maybe his best tight end tandem. We've talked about the receivers already. Big question, quarterback and running back.
You know what, Mike? I'm sorry, Terry. The thing I think here, this game's going to be won in the second half by Michigan because they have too many players. Miami's got players that can play at Michigan, and it is a talented team, highest scoring team, longest win streak. But they don't have enough of them.
The three most important players, Edwards, Brees, and Avant, haven't gotten the ball. Preston, I mean.
Haven't gotten the guys on the outside of the speed the ball. Look, we haven't seen from Michigan. Where's Braylon Edwards to the 45-yard line? First down. We didn't see a lot of the quarterback out of the pocket when John Navarre was under center. He's moved on, a little more mobile guy, and the first career completion for Henne.
We expected to talk about this with Matt Gutierrez because he had the movement, but Chad Henne, they say, is even more mobile than Gutierrez, so that works right into the game plan they had for Gutierrez.
Not only that, but he's got that strong arm. This is a perfect route by Edwards, who crossed the entire defense, gets into the soft spot behind the linebackers, and all of a sudden, area is wide open.
1,100 receiving yards last year for Braylon Edwards. He, like Marlon Jackson on defense, came back for that senior season. Underwood has a block. Just shy over the 40. We'll give him 4 yards there.
Underwood may have the biggest shoes to fill with Chris Perry being gone, and they don't want to run tailback by committee. They would like him to be the guy, but they're not quite sure yet. He's a senior, he's got 3 letters, but he's never been the starter.
Well, you know, Lloyd Carr likes to get his juniors some carries, some sophomore, a freshman, so the guys can evolve into being where Chris Perry was last year, a back who can take the Big Ten pounding on into October and November.
Here's a guy, though, Mike. He waited patiently behind Perry for 3 years. He gets his chance, and it may be his last chance. I mean, this is the end of the line for him, and he wants to prove himself.
There he is, seeking the hole. End up gaining only 2 there. We'll have 3rd and 4 coming up.
Plus the fact he lost weight, and I think he gained perspective. He understood. He lost that weight. He got himself in great condition. He came back ready to play. Lloyd Carr loved that.
He said, I'm no Chris Perry. But one thing I learned last year was how great Chris Perry was in getting himself in shape, ready to carry the big load. Chris Perry lost a little weight last year, was a little shiftier, and had a Doak Walker Award winning season. Best running back in the nation. 3rd and 4, they need to get past the 35, and Henne's throw is incomplete. A little high and late for his tight end, Tyler Ecker. Let's see what Michigan will do here. A little gray area on the field, coach. It's the plus 39.
Well, little freshman nervousness there. Had his tight end open and overthrew it. Was afraid to stay with that ball. Just a little freshman feeling there. He'll get that down as he plays a little bit more football.
Yeah, and what he's going to do here, too, by punting. Crowd would like to see him go down here in this area. It's a smart play, punt. He's playing now for field position. Hasn't had it the entire game. Now he's playing for field position.
And last year, 28% of Adam Finley's punts put the opponent inside of his
Ryan Robinson deep for Miami.
It's down, gentlemen.
Ryan Robinson, well schooled. Feet on the 10, not going back. Took a bounce back, and Michigan downs it at the 12. Just 26 yards there.
So he did his job. Now, had the ball gone into the end zone for a touchback, the coaches would have been upset. But he pooched it, you know, a little sunshine kick, got it up in the sun. Nobody could return it inside the 20. He loves it.
Well, just the name of this game, guys. Miami of Ohio against Michigan. Right away, you want to say, well, it's a MAC team, sure, but Michigan beats up on MAC teams. They've never lost, 17-0. Miami of Ohio isn't just the best team last year in the MAC. They've built a program where they are so much better than when Terry Hefner came in here 3 years ago and played Michigan.
I think everybody remembers September 20th last year. Marshallstone, Kansas State, Toledo, Ruck, Pittsburgh, Northern Illinois beat Alabama.
For Mike Smith, nowhere to run again. Marlon Jackson came up to lead the charge, a loss of a yard. Well, this great football weekend starts the season. Monday Night Football's 35th anniversary season begins on Thursday night. Super Bowl champion Patriots, Indianapolis Colts. Rematch of the AFC title game. How about the NFL opening kickoff presented by AmeriQuest? Elton John, Destiny's Child, Lenny Kravitz, Jessica Simpson. Here on ABC Sports Championship Television. And now John and Michelle will have kickoff at around 9 o'clock. 2nd and 11. The Josh Betts toss is complete to Michael Larkin. 6-yard gain there. Let's get an update from the studio in New York. And here's John Saunders. John?
Oklahoma returns Jason White at quarterback, won the Heisman Trophy last year, added again to his favorite target, Mark Clayton, for 6 yards and a 7-0 Oklahoma lead.
Thank you, John. Great start for the returning Heisman Trophy winner, Jason White. Of course, Bowling Green and Miami had a couple of terrific games last year in the Mid-American Conference. The championship game, which was won by Miami. Third down, and Betts throws complete to Michael Larkin for the first down.
They needed that first down, Mike. You know, they weren't able to move the ball. They needed 8, throws the strike. That's a confidence builder, and that's something they need to do.
Well, they had great experience at wide receiver. He went there, hooked up in the middle, set down the open spot between the linebackers. They've got an excellent receiver core also.
That's their first down, Mike. So that's what I'm talking about as far as a confidence builder, Terry.
Mike Larkin. That great athletic Larkin family. Barry and Byron as well, the all-time leading basketball scorer at Xavier in Cincinnati. I like the way Beck stands in there and throws. Good strike to Martin Nance for the first down. Back-to-back plays. This one out to the 43, a gain of 15.
See, once you get that first down, then they start to get a little bit easier. Now the floodgates start to open.
Well, we're seeing some kind of a soft coverage, soft zone coverage. These backs are doing those bend-in, those dig routes into the middle of the soft area. We're not seeing the tight man coverage by these great corners for Michigan yet.
Well, and they went to 4 wide, so what they did is they went sideline to sideline, spread the defense a little bit thin, create space. And by doing that, they just find the open area and sit down there.
Our offensive coordinator, Shane Montgomery, telling me yesterday that we had Ben Roethlisberger, who could do so much, first-round NFL pick, but the offense is still very much the same. Handoff as they spread him out once again. Mike Smith runs underneath and gets to midfield, a pickup of 7. It's not like they had to say, well, Roethlisberger's gone. We've got to really drastically change what we do here.
No, and they're staying within their game plan. You see that little sheet right there?
Injury.
They script their first 15 plays. They show different formations, 2 tights, 4 wides, ace. You know, and then they're able to run to set up the pass. So that's all been scripted. Now they'll get off the script, they'll find the plays that were working, and they'll stay with those.
Yeah, these two are both starters, but they're nothing like these two starting quarterbacks. They're so different. This one's a junior. He's been through lots of practice and reps. The young freshman has had none.
So you heard injury timeout. You see the center, Todd Londot, out of Utica, Ohio, took that kind of like an auto collision, that whiplash shot he took as he was stood up there.
That's big, too, because 3 of their 6 offensive linemen from a year ago signed NFL contracts. Londat was all conference. He was kind of the anchor in the middle. They need him.
And you lose your center, boy, do you have some issues. As they check on Londot, we'll step out for a moment. Dave Raker may slide over and take over the center spot when you come back at this scoreless game.
Chemical experiments in weightless space. Archaeological digs in the desert Southwest. Justice in American courtrooms. If it's being explored by anyone, anywhere, it's happening here, tackling more issues of greater diversity than at any other institution in the world. The University of Michigan, where it's happening.
Todd Londot, who was second-team All-Mid-American Conference center last year, walking off under his own power. Miami folks hope just the wind knocked out of him. So in the interim, the slide over, the starting left guard, Dave Raker, will move in, and the senior will start the play for Miami of Ohio. Steve Meister, a freshman out of Pennsylvania, will come into that left guard spot. So the pickup on the play was 8. It's 2nd and 2. And about 2 as Luke Clemens couldn't find any room to run.
I'll tell you, Coach, I would take a shot here. You're at midfield, it's 3rd and short. They're expecting a play maybe between the tackles. I'd take a shot deep.
I think when in the situation Miami is in, I think by any means you take a shot here. It's a perfect situation. Show the defense right now that you're willing to do anything, even if you don't make it. You've set the tempo, at least you're out here to do what's best to win the football, not just to play it safe.
What do you have to lose? You've already picked up a couple first downs. You've already regained your field position advantage. And if you don't get the big play, you come back and punt it.
3rd down, Michigan with a half dozen defensive backs in the game. Underneath for Ryan Robinson, the great punt returner. He's able to get the first down out to the 45-yard line. So a good job by Robinson working underneath with all those receivers able to find enough space to keep the drive alive.
Mike, take a look at the Chrysler passing playbook, and again, what they do is they spread you sideline to sideline and try to create air. And Robinson has that great speed. So what they're going to do is they're going to send these guys down deep, and then they're going to come back underneath. Go ahead and roll it, and you'll see sideline to sideline, spread it thin. Here comes Robinson, gets a little pick, takes it inside. He's got the first.
And a play like that has a chance to break it big, so it's not just a safe play, with big possibilities of safe play.
First down, Betts to the man coverage for Nance. Did he pull it in? Juggled and ruled incomplete, out of bounds.
Are you kidding me?
Great cornerback play, but that's the range. That's the height of that receiver over that cornerback. We talked about that in practice with him yesterday, using his height advantage over a good corner that doesn't have as much height as he does.
I mean, he's 6'4", plays even bigger than that. Big arm span, wingspan. Went up one-handed, a la Mike Williams, USC, which is a big story, obviously, in college football this year.
Nearly incomplete. If there's something that's a little questionable, we could work into the replay rule, which is in the Big Ten, in effect in this game as well. Nance underneath this time, picks up that 7-yard gain. We'll have 3rd and 3 coming up. All these new Big Ten games are the first games in the history of college football to have instant replay. There is the technical advisor, Jim Augustin, a former official. He's observing the broadcast along with some technical support and communication support in there. But if there's a play that is a little hazy, not sure, we'll tell you which specific plays can and cannot be reviewed. They have a TiVo. I know many of you have it at home. Just hit a rewind button, and they're watching our feed of the broadcast, and he'll tell the officials, we need to take a look at this on instant replay. The coaches don't trigger it like they do in pro football. 3rd and 3, Clemens is stopped. Those terrific Michigan linebackers, Scott McClintock and Joey Serratos, came in to make the play.
Interesting call here now, Mike, because I don't think they're within range of the field goal.
Now from here it would be 54 yards, Tim.
And I'm not so sure it's good to punt and back up a freshman quarterback. If you get a freshman quarterback inside his 10, that's not a bad idea. But you just don't know if you're trying to show them how aggressive you're going to be.
No, but the deal is here, as you look at the end of that play, you're at 4-down area. So this won't hurt you if you don't get it.
Yeah.
But they've got that high percentage passing attack, where they're going to again spread the field and thin out the defense.
Cross the receivers, 3 to the right. Nance, that good pass catcher, one to the left, and
now they'll
5 back. Yep.
It's so tough on that right tackle, I'm telling you, because he knows they're coming off the edge and he wants to get that jump. He's got the advantage of knowing the snap count, but he twitched.
I was wondering there for a second if they were trying to pull him off sides, but they weren't.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 76, offense. 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Seen this in the first couple of games of the year. The officials have to get used to making sure the number is correct when they're going to go announce it. Now, which number was that again? They usually do it as standard operating procedure before they started the rule where you have to announce the flags, but they're just double checking. There were a few wrong numbers in a game earlier this week.
I'm glad they weren't calling numbers when I played it. I think I was the most penalized guy in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
So now set to kick it away on 4th down after the first successful drive for Miami. Mike Wassig trying to pin Michigan back inside its own 10.
Oh, he's got it.
Well covered.
I'm telling you, these guys are prepared in the kicking game.
Caught on the fly by Mike Larkin at the 3.
I mean, that was like coming out of a jugs machine. He was just there waiting for it.
We saw it on the kickoff, the punt return, how well the wall was set up. We saw him in perfect position for that punt. They're well coached in their special teams. And that's an area that's given Michigan a lot of concern last year in their 2 losses.
You know what, Mike? There might be a lot of people watching this game that are a little bit shocked by this. I mean, if you see a goose egg up there this long, you're saying, hey, this is Michigan, Miami of Ohio. Well, that's what we try to tell them right out of the blocks. And Miami of Ohio, 13-1 last year, ranked number 10. This club can play, and they've got speed.
Long field for Chad Henne. If you're just joining us, the true freshman getting the start for Michigan because of an injury to Matt Gutierrez. We'll retell the story in a moment. Here's Underwood. David takes it out to the 10 to pick up of 5 yards. Steve Burke made the tackle. Michigan's Matt Gutierrez, the junior out of De La Salle High School out in Concord, California. That's the school that's won 151 in a row. Best winning streak ever in football. And Gutierrez was going to be the guy, won the job, was announced as the starter Monday by Lloyd Carr. told Lloyd he hurt his shoulder Wednesday. The true freshman Henne's in.
All right, partner, right out of the blocks. Here's your trivia question for the day.
Oh, we got the trivia question second quarter.
Wait a minute now. Name a Michigan star that played here and went to De La Salle.
You want to give everybody a chance to think about it?
Oh, sure.
All right. We'll give the answer in the second quarter. First quarter, no score. An ABC Sports presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from your ABC station.
It's a big, big house with lots and lots of room. A big, big yard where we can play football. A big, big house.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Opening day in Ann Arbor, 110,000 on hand. Mike Tirico, Terry Bowden, Tim Brandt, Susie Schuster on the sideline. No score. Michigan starting the true freshman out of Pennsylvania, very highly recruited, obviously, Chad Henne. Second down at about 4. It is Underwood, and he was stopped for no gain. Marcus Johnson, the left end, led the charge.
Kevin Dudley, the fullback, just got a pancake. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Took him on in the backfield, but the lateral movement that you see by this defense, we've said it over and over again, you can't run east and west on them.
There's Dudley coming off, the senior running back. Played half the plays last year, never had a carry. 3 years at Michigan, he's never had a carry. He's caught a few passes, but he just reminded Lloyd Carr this summer, Coach, I'd like to carry once before I leave.
He wouldn't promise him that. He told me he couldn't promise him.
That's not unusual for Michigan.
Need to get to the 14, keep this drive alive. Waylon Edwards is the man in motion, and he has time to throw here. Sees it in, caught by Jason Avant. First down at the 21. Well, there you see part of the package of why a true freshman can come in here and start 11-yard gain on a frozen rope.
He is so special. He's just calm. He stays back there, buys every little second he can back in the pocket.
But watch this. He really follows this play. He has a great arm, but he's following this route so long. You got to worry about the backside corner right there, but he gets it in with that great arm strength.
He actually was looking at Edwards, which I think helped get the completion because the coverage was good. Came off of Edwards, and there he was. Found Avant.
You love what Miami's doing. A lot of pressure. Then they dropped a lot of guys back. Give them some time to look at things. Mixing it up. A screen here to Underwood. Got one nice block, but couldn't pick up the second one from the left guard, David Moss. And it's a 7-yard pickup on first down. We have to go back to before the end of the quarter. You asked me about Matt Gutierrez, the quarterback from De La Salle High School, Concord,
I know
California.
you know this.
Wide receiver, caught a few balls here. New York Giants, right?
You're all over it. Amani Toomer.
That's the guy, De La Salle High School. You know, De La Salle's up in the Northwest. They're up in Seattle taking on the Bellevue Washington High School team tonight.
I don't think they've lost a game for about 25 years.
De La Salle?
Yeah.
December 7th of 91.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like forever.
Kids on the team now were in kindergarten. Underwood up in the middle. And he'll have enough there for the first down. And that's why Matt Gutierrez, a lot of people felt, even though he didn't have much experience, was going to be okay stepping in for John Navarre. But instead of a guy who's experienced a big program and a winning tradition, because of the shoulder injury, you have to turn it over to someone who's never played a snap in college football.
Yeah, and the whole point is 2 days. You didn't know what to get to him, but 2 days ago you first learned, so you're spoon feeding him for the first 27 days of preseason practice.
That's spoon?
Spoon feeding, did I say? Spoon.
I can have to learn a new language with you up here.
John Saunders sent a translation card. The throw to Steve Preston underneath with room to run. Room he made by his great speed. Preston takes it out to the 48-yard line. And a first down. It's part of the offensive package, including the running back David Underwood. For more on that, here's Susie Schuster.
All right, Mike, if it weren't for a growth spurt that never came, Michigan wouldn't have Underwood to depend on. He wanted to be the next Rasheed Wallace, and he was 5'11" in the 8th grade, but then he stopped growing. He even measured himself every day in a ruler he drew in his laundry room, but he just stopped growing. But Mike, he still loves basketball. He says it's going to be the Rockets over the Pistons in 6.
Well, he's playing to both hometowns. He's here in Michigan, and he is from Texas, Madisonville, Texas. Fake to him there. And he looked long, it was covered, comes back to his tight end, Tim Massaquoi. Massaquoi gets it for a gain of 4 before 2nd and 6. Here's John Saunders in New York.
Well, Mike, you've got a MAC school there, another MAC school, Bowling Green, taking on Oklahoma, and they strike first. Omar Jacobs, 18 yards. So Charles Heron, touchdown, and striking first. Bowling Green comes back to tie this game at 7 apiece.
Wow, John, I think people thought that this game would be close, but Oklahoma would be a little more one-sided against BG.
Still early. This game, 6 punts, no points, 5 3-and-outs.
Susie just talked about it. You see a little bit of what he's doing now at 215 pounds, a little quicker, so he's trying to make a move, but still went back to try to run Matt Pusateri, the safety, over. But the 6-footer from Dublin, Ohio, right outside of Columbus, he likes to stick his nose in there.
And I like the strategy of running north and south against these guys. You got bigger bodies up front that can't utilize their speed when you come straight at them. You create creases and come up the middle.
I think they're just now getting into the game plan because of the change in quarterbacks. I think now they're just getting into the game plan. They want to use the pass to set up the run. They couldn't do that early until they got him comfortable. So they ran. Now he's comfortable. Use the pass, set up the run.
3rd and 5, tight formation, but they love to throw out of this. Underneath for Braylon Edwards, he is going to be very close. That second effort got him over the yellow line you see at home for the first down. Let's check the spot. It will be very close. Very close. Nope, they got it. First down.
When the Monday morning quarterbacks come out and they throw up their critiques on Henne and they look at everything he did, one thing I don't think anybody will ever be able to question is his arm strength and his passing ability. He is some kind of special.
If you're thinking, when is the last time Michigan started a true freshman? Well, we don't know what happened in 1904 with the point-a-minute teams and fielding Yost crew, but Rick Leach, modern Michigan football, last time a true freshman. Now he's looking for a big hit for Edwards. Intercepted by Matt Pusateri. The safety's got some running room. And out to the 42-yard line. Kevin Dudley made the tackle, but Pusateri, so strong in that back line, takes Henne's first interception of his career.
I tell you, Mike, that's something you try to avoid with a freshman. You know he's going to make some mistakes. You got to hang with him. And it was a senior that picked him off, Matt Pusateri. He's the guy that led the Red Hawk defense, tackles the last 2 years, makes the pick here, turns it over. Here comes Miami.
Matt Pusateri made the interception and also gave Miami of Ohio a 3rd possession in this game, starting right around their own 40. So they've got a nice field position here this afternoon. Sept swings it out, and Luke Clemens takes it out to the 47. But Terry Bowden, take me back to the interception and show me a young quarterback's education.
Let me show you why he might have made an interception. Look as he comes back and drops back. Watch Braylon Edwards. His eyes are following him across the middle, and when you do that, these underneath corners, the backside gets to see them, and the quarterback cannot see the defensive back on the other side of the field to catch him and keep it, not throw it to him.
Is there anything better that an experienced safety likes more than a true freshman quarterback?
Isn't that the truth? Freshman to senior, INT.
They read those eyes of that quarterback, man.
Good first down pickup of 6. Let's see what the junior Josh Betts can do. Intercepted. Throw wasn't all that bad, but Ryan Mundy still going to the 27-yard line. Penalty marker down behind the play. A 38-yard interception return is probably going to come back a little bit as they took it out on Josh Betts, a couple of defensive front men.
I want to tell you something. They were that was a mugging.
Josh was, what was the old line from the official? Giving him the business?
Oh, my goodness. That was Pierre Woods and Patrick Massey. It's about 500
There are 2 fouls
pounds.
on the play. Both occurred after the interception. That ball, personal foul on number 8.
Betts got one also.
Personal foul on number 94. Those will offset. Result of the play is the interception. First down.
So it's Betts and Massey get their personal fouls. How can Betts against 2 guys like that? That's 500 pounds. Watch this. Here's Massey. Here's Betts. Watch this. Now we get help on this. Come on. How can that be on Betts? He's defending himself.
He's frustrated, too, because he had a wide-open receiver. He missed him, threw it high, resulted in the interception.
That's a bad call.
Okay, thank you.
That's a bad call. That's not.
Are you kidding me? That was a mugging.
Well, the pass was hot to handle, just a hair ahead of the receiver, who was trying to work hard and stretch out and catch it, but deflected it right to Monday for his first interception. And now great field position for Chad Henne. Give it to Underwood, who comes to the 24-yard line, a gain of 3. Time for the Aflac trivia question. Michigan, season 125 of college football. Second longest among the Division 1A schools. Who's first?
I'm glad you can read it now. Let's see.
Give me a chance to
I know
think about
who's
it.
first.
You do?
Oh, yeah, but I want the folks at home to.
All right. Terry, you know?
No.
You know?
You know what exit it is?
Oh, there's a sign. A little hint for you. The gain of 3 down the hands of Steve Preston, the speedster, first down to the 14-yard line.
I tell you, I like the way Steve Preston hits a crack. He hit the pat last time the same way you see him on punt returns. He slams through it like a running back.
And they give him those kind of plays, Terry. You know, kind of long handoff there. It's technically an 11-yard run because it was a backward pass.
Watch the way he runs. He's a long strider, deceptive speed, good push, great body control. Henne, he was 5 for 5 on the last drive before he threw that pick, so he still has a great deal of confidence. It's nice to see him come back like that after the interception.
First down, Braylon Edwards all alone, bottom of the screen. Underwood runs to the right, gains a couple of yards. Here's John Saunders again in New York. John?
Mike, thanks a lot. We know you didn't have to travel very far to get to your game today, back in your hometown. And here's Bowling Green against Oklahoma. Kewan Jones from 11 yards out, 14-7 lead.
Well, John, you're right. The Taricos opened their house to us last night.
Yeah, my buddy John.
Of ourselves.
John didn't give me a warning. He said, if you're going to invite everybody to the house, don't bring Terry. Gosh.
I'm little, but I can eat pretty good, I will say.
Eat very well, Coach.
He ate for both of us.
Hey, listen to you now.
Here is Henne for Edwards in the corner. Incomplete. That is a trademark Michigan play that they run so well. But you know, Tim and Terry, that's something that when you have a starting quarterback who works with the receiver all the time, the timing is perfect on that. It was not there.
It wasn't much off. It wasn't but about a half yard out of bounds for that.
All remaining kickoff start the 11-yard line.
Oof. Took a hit. Are you okay down there? All right, John. Good job, John, hanging in there. Man. 3rd and 8. You get a first down inside the 3, and they'll stack it to the left. And waiting for somebody to come free. It's only Preston. He did a great job to catch it, but will lose a yard there. Lose a couple, as a matter of fact.
They had everything covered. They had everything covered. There was nowhere to throw it. That one might have been thrown away better off even than throwing that one.
How about the protection? You're right. Everything was covered. They pick up the blitz coming. They throw the safety valve. They try to throw a safe pass. That's a big, big boost for Miami to make that stop.
In our conference calls, the Miami coaches are very confident about this defense. They played well. They were one of the top defenses in the MAC conference last year, and they've got a lot of experience and a lot of confidence.
Garrett Rivas is on to try the extra point. Good kicker from Tampa, Florida. Really solidified a sore spot for Michigan last year. 31 yards. Scores the first points of the season, and Gutierrez, who was supposed to be the starting quarterback, but it's not because of the shoulder injury, was in there to hold. He is the regular holder. Michigan on the board first. We're about halfway through quarter number 2. It's only 3-0. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the Next Ford Super Duty. Tougher, stronger, smarter. The Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. And Samuel Adams. When you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams, always a good decision. Back on campus here in Ann Arbor. Classes started earlier this week. 37,000 students coming here to get the year started. Ryan Robinson and Darrell Hunter to receive. Robinson's the dangerous threat number 2. And he'll take it from the goal line. Took a punt back earlier. Spun on the first hit, but he's brought down at the 15-yard line. Well, Michigan almost scored a touchdown earlier. You saw the timing play. I want you to hear the violence of the collision. And our cameraman, he takes the brunt of the shot here. you okay? Are you okay? Are you? Yes. Not my first rodeo, right? John, good stuff.
John's working hard, I'll tell you that. John is working hard.
Guys, hat back on. That's all right.
You're looking good, though, partner.
Big John, his family down in Tallahassee, Florida, right down the street from Bobby and Ann Bowden. They live.
Everybody down in Florida, you're in our thoughts, too, as the hurricane bears in on you again. Hope everybody's safe down there, as safe as you can be. That's hit as he threw, and it's intercepted! It's Marcus Curry! First and goal at the 8. Back-to-back passes picked off by the Michigan secondary. But the pressure forced that one out early.
We've talked so much about Chad Henne at Michigan, we've forgotten that the secondary of Michigan is going to be very, very tough for the first-time starter Josh Betts also.
Only 2 of the last 17 passes have hit the ground, but this ball shouldn't have been thrown. He's got pressure, he feels it, backs up, throws off balance, can't get the leverage to make the pass, and he just throws it up for grabs. You can see right here, Curry is a great cover corner. He reads, he jumps him inside, gets it at his highest point. Nice return.
Scott McClintock and Pierre Woods. We talked about how good their linebacking core is. They were the ones who got the pressure there to help start that interception.
Mike, how about that, though? Only 2 of the last 17 passes have hit the ground with 3 interceptions.
First and goal, Michigan from the 9. Here's Underwood running towards the goal line. Pickup of 7. 2nd and 2 coming up. Well, we asked it before, the Aflac trivia question. Michigan 125th year of football. What school's been playing 1A football longer?
Injury, timeout.
As we have a Miami of Ohio player shaken up, chance to Rutgers.
So what exit is that in New Jersey?
It depends which way you go. You can get off the Turnpike and go, or get off the Garden State Parkway. You do have options, but of course Rutgers played the first game against Princeton.
Rutgers has those great new facilities, big sprawling campus.
And many of you are going to see Rutgers in the second game of our ABC doubleheader this opening Saturday of the season, taking on Michigan State.
That might be a lot closer than people think, too.
So,
Mike, Miami's starting to wear down.
Yep, good call, Timmy. You mentioned that earlier. Second and goal here is Underwood. He gets to the 1-yard line.
I mean, I want to go back to the play calling, too. I'm thinking, you know, their offense, Michigan's offense may not be able to drive the length of the field. Not so many passes down here when you're backed up. Force them at least punt it and force them to drive 50 or so. Keep yourself in the ball game. A lot of passes out of questionable areas for Miami.
I mean, this is Michigan football now. You get down into the short zones, down into the red zone, and just start playing smash mouth football.
And you got 2 big 6'5" seniors in Stenovich and Boss on the left side of that line. He's run right the first couple of times. He'll go that way again. But it's Boss leading the way for Underwood. Did he get in?
I don't think so.
He
Marked it at the 1-foot line.
And we'll have 4th down coming up. And 110,000 coaches.
Give the Red Hawks a lot of credit here. I mean, this is a heck of a stand.
Yeah, they bounced Underwood. David Underwood was bounced out to a wider hole that time, and he couldn't slam into the end zone.
Goal line defense, you want to penetrate, you want to get a yard deep in their backfield, establish a new line of scrimmage, let the linebackers fill, and they did.
4th and goal. Michigan brought in a 3rd tight end in Jim Fisher. Henne to Underwood over the top. Touchdown, Michigan.
You've got to do that. If you're Michigan, you have got to be able to do that against Miami of Ohio.
Well, they went to the elephant formation. They got the big guys up front. You're talking about Stenovich 318, Lentz is 300, Beal is 302, Boss is 323, Riley 311. Their offensive line is bigger than the Washington Redskins. Then you put a lead back in there, and Underwood just has to follow him and get up over top of him.
Rivas on for the extra point. The hold of Matt Gutierrez. Well, you talk about mistakes in early games. 2 interceptions in your end of the field. Becomes a field goal and a touchdown. The Wolverines on top by 10. Michigan leading Miami of Ohio 10-0. Just under 5 minutes left. Second quarter on a humid, sticky 82-degree day in Ann Arbor. The Michigan secondary, very, very strong, has come up with 2 interceptions on back-to-back drives. One led to a field goal and then a short 9-yard drive capped off by the touchdown. Troy Vandenberg, the kickoff man, sends it away. And Ryan Robinson gets another crack at it. Oh, look at that. Good move by Robinson. He is so smooth at reading blocks, guys. Took a nice one out to the 30-yard line.
He's hard to hit, too. You know, when I interviewed him on the field, I don't have to look up very high to look him eye to eye. But he's hard to hit. He's so low you can't see him. That's not very tall, Mike.
No, it's not.
Time now for the Pacific Life game summary. We'll start with Robinson because of that speed. This almost changed the complexion of the game. He took a punt and took it all the way back, 65 yards, returned it for a touchdown, but there was a penalty. Then the interception, Curry picks off Josh Betts. That leads to the touchdown by Underwood. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be uphill for Miami.
And they were playing so well also.
This is an important drive. Last two offensive plays, interceptions. It's a keeper for Betts. They take it out to the 35-yard line, a pickup of 5. You know, we mentioned that Miami of Ohio played a game against Indiana State. Let me tell you why. Colorado State was originally on the schedule for Miami of Ohio, and Sonny Lubick didn't want to bring his team to play Miami of Ohio, so Terry Pepner had to really search for an opponent, and they ended up with a 1AA opponent, Indiana State. Not exactly what they wanted to do. They were able to get it last week and get an early start to their season.
See, Sonny learned his lesson last year. He lost by 20 to these guys. He didn't want to play them.
At his place.
Yeah.
You have to ask whether they got a good enough game against Indiana State. They would have had much better foundation against Colorado State.
That's in the middle. A little too high for Larkin and incomplete.
That's the second time over the middle. He's overthrown that. Usually shows a little bit of nervousness when you overthrow like that, not hanging on and following through. The last interception over the middle was the same thing.
See, I disagree. I don't think it's nervousness. I think he's frustrated. And you can see it a little bit after that pass. He was just shaking his head, and I think he's trying to just get things into the seam and guide the ball.
Well, that's kind of what I mean. You've got to leave it in there. You can't baby that thing. You've got to come through and have the confidence to stick it in there.
I'm with you there, partner.
See what kind of pressure Michigan brings. The 3rd and 5. Needing to get out to the yellow line, just past the 40. Well picked up. Incomplete to the tall receiver, Martin Nance. First down at the 44-yard line. Gain of 9 there. A reminder of the Valvoline halftime show coming up with John Saunders, Greg James, and the former Notre Dame All-America, Aaron Taylor. They'll have highlights and analysis, plus they'll discuss college football's major off-season changes. Valvoline halftime report is coming up. See, Terry, at halftime, when you come out here to the games, you have to go out and get something to eat.
That sounds good to me. I'm a rookie.
Keep an eye on what's going on back there in the studio. Good to have you out and smell the stadium.
I'm just glad Terry finally made the traveling squad.
I finally got back in the stadium, didn't he?
First and 10 for the 44. Betts' first option is covered, but he comes back to Ryan Robinson to the 37-yard line. A first down, a 17-yard pickup.
Those are nice comebacks for him.
Robinson's going to play on Sundays. There's no question about it. He is so silky smooth and so dangerous once he has the ball.
You know, the Michigan coaches said they'd have a couple of guys that be starting in the Big Ten easily on this team. You have to put that into your thinking cap when you're thinking about Miami.
I think it's critical, Mike, that they score here. This drive has to produce some points.
That's what you were alluding to when you said 10-0. Once you get Michigan rolling with a little confidence at home, it becomes a very big hill to climb. Side handoff with Luke Clemens. It's hit off the edge by Ernest Shazer again. A gain of 3. You have to remember with Betts, and we talk about him stepping in quarterback, he's stepping into huge shoes. That of Ben Roethlisberger, who left as one of the most honored and decorated quarterbacks, players in Miami of Ohio history. Betts has had fun with it. He said, I'm stepping into big shoes, but I wear size 14. Ben was a 13. So I've got my own big shoes to fill.
But you know what? From the day that Roethlisberger decided to come out early, Betts has been preparing for this game.
He knew it. That announcement right after the bowl game. He knew that it was going to be a different year. Hit as he threw. And incomplete. Boy, did he take a straight-on shot from Larry Harrison coming up the gut. Woof.
He can get away with a pass like that against Indiana State. He can't against Michigan. He cannot throw this football.
No, I'm going to be in his face when he gets on that sideline a little bit now. He's done that a couple of times.
Absolutely, and he got away with one here because that was almost picked off.
You know, but for the interceptions, they would be in this ballgame 10-0. All points coming off of turnovers on their side of the field. You don't have to. There's sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it's a draw. Throw it away.
He's lucky he still has his knees. Yeah. Larry Harrison came in. He's 300 pounds, and his knees were locked.
The good news is that Larry's a trimmed-down player from last year. I'm sure Betts doesn't feel that right now. He's a little quicker, too. That's why he's getting to the quarterback. They need to get to the 28. Throw it on the run.
That's a flag.
The Miami guys want the flag, and their coaching staff looking for it on Leon Hall.
You know, and I thought a flag should have been thrown. I thought he got there just a second too early, split second. Not even a second, but he got there before the ball. There should have been a flag.
All right, I'm going to be wrong, too, because I think the highlight's going to show just that. I thought he was a split second early. We're both going to be wrong together on that. I like to disagree, so one of us is right, but I can't do it.
I know
thought it was boom,
Terry.
boom.
Terry agreed with us, too.
Yeah.
Terry Hepner.
Josh Betts is going to take a timeout here because you have 4th down coming up at the Michigan 35.
Timeout.
Now, although we haven't had instant replay, this is not what instant replay does.
That's right. That's right. These are one of the plays that cannot be covered.
So Terry's still arguing his case.
I was going to say, as Terry has a minute to let the official know, I really didn't like that call. Or in some other words, we'll step out for a minute.
Here it is. Bam. He was all over him.
Fourth time that Michigan and Miami of Ohio have played. Michigan has won all 3, including Ben Roethlisberger's first game as a quarterback in 2001. 4th down, and after the conversation, Miami of Ohio will still try to pick up the first down. They need 7 yards.
Highest scoring team in the country, Miami, over the last 14 games. No points yet.
Different level of defense.
We're going to get man coverage on the outside. You can see that right now.
He's looking toward Martin Nance, who couldn't pull it in, and Michigan will take over at its own 35.
He got the separation he was looking for. Even if he pushed off, there was no call coming. Good play. All he's got to do is turn and make the catch.
It was just so close. The quarterback put it on the right side. He made the good move, but couldn't come down with a catch because I thought it was catchable. It wasn't easy.
Actually, Betts put it where it should have been.
Yes,
Put it to the other
away
side
from
of the
side.
defender.
He got so involved in the hand fighting, trying to shake free from Marcus Curry. He almost had to move his body back around 90 degrees to make the catch.
But as you see again, that's a tough catch. He couldn't get around quite in time to get both hands on it. But like I say, that's a matter of inches right there. Nobody really did anything wrong. Pretty good coverage.
Hep is still complaining.
He's a good guy. Fun to be around. A very, very nice man who's done a terrific job with this program. So Chad Henne, the true freshman, comes back for Michigan from the 35. He's going to air out that arm and see where Braylon Edwards can run under. Edwards went up and out of bounds. Incomplete. Edwards thought he got that 1 foot down.
Well, he bobbled it. I believe he's going to see that he bobbled it because he did catch it, bobbled it, got it back, and he was out of bounds when he got it back.
I think at one point the back judge is actually reaching for a flag.
But this is the type of play that can be instant replay.
That's right. And the technical advisor is watching this with you at home. And if he sees something he's not sure about, did he have control of it when the 1 foot came down?
I think
this is a play that could be replayed.
This is going to be replayed. I will guarantee this will be replayed.
Oh, that foot's, I don't know, the first foot was on the line, the second foot was in bounds maybe.
Let me say one thing. Indisputable video evidence has to be made, and you will not get it on that replay.
That's tough.
Now, they have a pager system where they would page 4 officials who's just wearing a little pager. But once the next play runs, there will be no replay. And off goes to David Underwood, who takes it out to the 41-yard line.
We did mention that was a perfect, beautiful pass, and it shouldn't have been bobbled anyway, though.
Well, and he was reaching for his flag, the back judge, until the defender turned his head. Once he did that, they let the flag go.
Now, let's spend a minute on replay for everyone who hasn't seen the specific rules. It's totally controlled from upstairs. The technical advisor will get it in touch with the officiating crew on the field, and the coaches don't do any challenging. Not the NFL system. Braylon Edwards on the run. Picking up blocks to midfield. And the first down. And I think, guys, one of the significant parts of the whole replay issue, in addition to how it's executed, that person up in the booth, he's making the ultimate decision. The official doesn't have to come over to the little spooky hood like in the NFL and go in and watch it himself. They will get it on a phone and say, reverse the call, or the call stands, and go forward from there.
Like the bottom line is this. The play is governed by sideline, goal line, end zone, or end line. That's it.
Timeout.
And you said indisputable video evidence. And you see the differences, Terry, between the NFL rule, what you can do there, and in the Big Ten, where this NCAA-approved experiment is going on this year. No limit. Last 2 minutes, it doesn't matter. It's all happening up here. It doesn't cost you a timeout if there's a replay issue like the NFL. And the status of the game clock can be reviewed as well. And I think that's one that could be very interesting if it happens at the end of the game. But the point is, if there's a replay with 6.5 minutes left in the game, well, the clock will stay at 6:32. They'll reset it properly.
But I want to go back to indisputable video evidence. They're going to get the same views a lot that we get during replay. You hate it where all the audience on the replay knows it was a terrible call. I think that's what it's going to avoid.
Right.
We're going to still
that's
have
why
some
we
calls.
should make the call.
Yeah.
We should be the technical advisors.
We can do it. We can do it.
Hey, fellas, how about this? First quarter, 6 punts. Second quarter, none.
Wow.
While we have a Michigan timeout, let's go check with John in New York.
Well, Mike, you were just talking about replaying plays and looking them over. Jamal Cooper comes up with a sack here. Dontez Sanders picks it up and takes off and will not be cut. Goes in for the touchdown, but upon further review, his knee was down and went back to the 50.
Thank you, John. Henne's pass there is dropped by Braylon Edwards. Would have been a first down inside the 35. We have 2nd and 10 coming up, so it erased the score there for Wisconsin in their game against Central Florida. In all these Big Ten non-conference games, the option was given to the visiting team when coming to a Big Ten stadium, and almost all 4 schools didn't. Like when San Diego State comes in here to the Big House in 2 weeks, there will be no replay in that game. San Diego State said, we don't want any part of it.
Our thoughts and prayers with George O'Leary, the head coach of UCF, who chose not to attend the funeral of his mother.
Absolutely. George taking over that program there this year. 73 seconds left. It's 2nd and 10. Henne's looked sharp in his second quarter. Going to take off for the first time. Took a big hit. Got it out to the 42-yard line. We'll have 3rd and 4 coming up. As they get him set, reminder, Valvoline halftime show with John Craig and the former Notre Damer, Aaron Taylor, coming up. Highlights analysis, discussing the major offseason changes in college football, and we'll also hear from our colleagues at ABC News with the latest on the hurricane that Terry mentioned a moment ago. Interesting here is Michigan is in a clock management situation, time running down, 2 timeouts left. 3rd and 3, they choose not to use one. Hand it off to Pierre Rembert, and the backup tailback has a first down. To the 33. Junior out of Milwaukee, nagged by injuries in the spring, has done a good job here in summer camp.
They got 2 timeouts left. They don't really have to use it quite yet if they want to know what calls they make.
Michigan.
Take 1 there, and they'll have 1 remaining.
Mike, you've been out here in Ann Arbor. You've watched the running back competition, and they're talking about running backs by committee this year. I really believe Lloyd Carr and associate head coach Fred Jackson, and we saw Fred yesterday. I mean, they like 1 running back, 1 guy. It's the Michigan way. Always has been. They don't like to do it by committee. They want a stud. You've had Tyrone Wheatley. You've had Tim Biakabatuka. You've had Anthony Big
Thomas,
Train.
the A-Train. Yep.
And then, of course, you got Chris Perry. So, I mean, that's the way they like to do things here and just play smash-mouth football.
I think you're right.
And then you like to pass to set up that. And you know, this committee thing's not going to last long, I don't think.
And I think that's why Lloyd really wanted Underwood to be a little bit more of a part of the offense as he was a junior, and why you're going to see a lot of Pierre Rembert here this year. So when you get to your senior year, ideally in his mind, he even plays true freshman to get him a little bit of experience. I want you ready for October and November when we may play in East Lansing and you're going to carry 50 times to 51 like Perry did last year.
Yeah, that dominance by 1 back usually happens in the second half of the season. He's going to give himself some fudge room if he has to with substitutions. And remember, B.J. Askew was the substitute tailback with Chris Perry to start with.
That's right. That's right. Guys, every time I see Henne, number 7, the true freshman, when I see him drop back, I feel like I'm watching Drew Henson. He has a similar body type, looks a little bit similar as he drops back in the pocket, and that number 7's familiar as well. Henne Peets takes a hit. Loss of 1.5 yards there. And Michigan's going to take its final timeout with 22 seconds left. Good job by Derek Rehage to help make the play there.
Lloyd will talk to him here. He doesn't want him to take too many of those hits.
No. Everybody was covered. He could have thrown it away. That's what he didn't do. Throw it away. You don't have to waste a timeout, and the clock stops just as quickly.
Well, we mentioned Matt Gutierrez so much. He was supposed to be the starting quarterback. Lloyd named him the starting quarterback Monday before Gutierrez came to Carr on Wednesday and said, I have a bad shoulder. I can't throw right now. Well, I think if you would have painted that scenario, a lot of people would have thought that Clayton Richard would have been the quarterback to come in. Sophomore out of Lafayette, Indiana. He is a classic drop-back passer and was described by some people around here as the guy with the 95-mile-per-hour fastball. So Clayton Richard, the number 2 quarterback, may be coming into this summer camp He's not a bad player at all, and he didn't have an awful camp. It tells you how good Henne was as a true freshman.
Not only that, Mike, but I think Richard is a work in progress. You know, he was an option quarterback, shotgun kind of guy. In high school. They're still working on his feet. They're still working on his drop back. He had to learn all that when he came to school. So they're still working on him, and he's getting there.
Chad Henne was an honor student. He's an honor student. He's always been very coachable. Picks things up very quickly. Not a lot of downtime for him, or a lot of big learning curve for Chad Henne.
Big difference between shotgun and what they're doing here.
Right, exactly.
22 seconds, no timeouts. Second and about a dozen coming up here from Michigan. 3 receivers. Jason Avant, bottom of your screen. Henne is looking middle for his tight end, Tyler Ecker. And what a play by Matt Pusateri. He already has an interception in this game. Looked like there was a small window for the tight end, but number 19 slammed it shut.
That vertical arrow route, you have to sense and time it and throw it sooner so it hits the hole. He saw the hole, then threw the ball, and it was too late. It's an arrow route. He was just a little bit late, and getting there allows the defender to come back over the shoulder.
I love to watch Pusateri play. I mean, 100 tackles every year that he's played for Miami. He's led the Red Hawk defense in tackles, so I expected this real physical guy. He's flying around. He's very acrobatic. He reads the eyes. He reacts very quickly, and he makes the play on the ball as well.
Third and a dozen from here. The field goal will be 52 yards. The corner blitz takes him out of field goal range. Alfonso Hodge comes up with the play that will end this first half. Big play by Miami of Ohio. Michigan was driving for another score, but instead it will be 10-0 at halftime.
Well, they depended on their defense. Their defense came through with the interceptions. But Miami, that's a big win. It wasn't a score, but they get the ball kicked off to them coming out the second half. They're going to feel pretty good. Say, let's don't make the interceptions, the mistakes. We can play with these guys.
10-0 here at the half. Susie Schuster corralling the Michigan head coach, Lloyd Carr.
All right, Lloyd, it seems that your freshman quarterback is getting more and more confident as he goes on. How have you been pleased by his progress?
Well, I think he's done a great job under the circumstances. You know, he just got back from the junior-senior prom. So he's done a great job, and, you know, all of our guys have rallied behind him. I think that's the thing, and our defense is playing great.
Your defense has been spectacular. 2 picks in the first half. What do you tell them when you go in here?
Well, I tell them a great job and keep it up, and we want to run the football, and, you know, hopefully we can establish and sustain some drives here.
Running the football is a little bit of old-fashioned Michigan football. Thanks so much for your time. Mike, let's go back up to you.
Thank you, Susie. Just 55 rushing yards for Michigan there in that first half. Well, junior year, senior year, the prom, and then the big house, huh? 10-0 at half. ABC Sports presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from your ABC station.
It's the Valvoline halftime show. David Underwood punches this one across, part of a 10-0 lead Michigan over Miami. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. When you look at the Michigan Wolverines and you look at a mid-major coming in, especially out of the MAC, you get a little scared.
Well, Miami of Ohio is not afraid to play anybody. Nobody out of the MAC is afraid to play anybody out there. And when you talk about these mid-majors, early in the season, they're fresh, they're not beat up. What really happens and where they fall apart is when it gets later in the third and fourth quarter. Can they maintain the focus and the intensity, Aaron? Otherwise, that depth comes into play against them.
I tell you what, and this is where I really see Miami of Ohio separating themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. Ryan Robinson had a kickoff punt return, returned for a touchdown called back. He had 2 called back the week previous prior. They're killing themselves. Those are the things that you have to be able to do on the road, especially when playing an opponent that is better than you on the road when you're trying to make a name for yourself.
But don't block in the back and they won't call it back.
No, sir, that's right.
Oklahoma is doing the same thing. By that, I mean playing a team out of the Mid-American Conference. Omar Jacobs goes 18 yards to Charles Sharon. And there's a touchdown, tying the game at 7 apiece. But Oklahoma comes right back. Kevin Jones, 11 yards.
Yeah, Kawan Jones is one of those guys that he's quick. And again, they're going to have a good playing offense this year. But the guy that I think that's going to really open eyes, Mark Clayton. Everybody knows who he is. Mark Clayton is going to end up being, I think, in maybe the Heisman polls.
Yeah, Mark Clayton's a very, very good receiver. That offense, 83% of their offense coming back from last year. And that guy right there, Jason White, phenomenal. I think you can expect a big year from him. He's got a chip on his shoulder, some things to prove. Jason White going to show up.
He's got 2 touchdown passes, and that was Kewan Jones with the touchdown run. Cincinnati against Ohio State. Justin Zwick, 17 yards to Ryan Hamby. But again, Cincinnati is a team that will give Ohio State fits early.
And there's nothing odd about this score. Ohio State squeaks by all the time offensively. You know, it's the defense that wins for them.
I'll tell you what, the MAC's showing up big against these Big Ten powers. They better get it done.
The Mid-American Conference, again, you lump them in with some of the other smaller conferences that don't get a chance to get into the BCS. Is this a stage where they can get there? Say, look, if we can play with these guys, we deserve to be in there.
You talk about the chip on the shoulder?
Yeah.
Huh? You think, hey, I'm the guy that's supposed to be getting the credit. They weren't recruited by Michigan, so they're really out there and they're trying to prove something. And when they get into that mindset in college football, passion is what wins football games.
I agree, no question, Craig. You have to. It's such an advantage when you go out there and the team has a chip on their shoulder. They're these little guys going up against the big powerhouse. They're the underdog. That plays a big role when you're playing college football. And these guys showing up today, putting a little thorn in people's sides.
You never had a chip on your shoulder. You're a big guy.
It was a boulder, wasn't it? Kent State, meanwhile, another team out of the Mid-American Conference taking on Iowa. And Iowa takes to the field. Drew Tate, 10 yards to Matt Malloy. And Iowa at that point had opened up a 10-0 lead. It's now 23-7.
You know what? Iowa, Kirk Ferentz has it going on over there, and there's some people questioning whether or not they'd be really good this year. They're just reloading, and I think they're going to start showing that.
Yeah, I tell you what, this game's worth watching just to see those little funny hats those referees are wearing. What is going on with that?
Cal, by the way, remember was the team that beat USC last year? Well, they're facing Air Force, and Sean Carney goes 11 yards to Robert McConomy.
Sean Carney looks great right there for two freshmen to come in and play against the team that everybody thinks has the best shot at beating SC this year. They look like he's going pretty good.
I like Sean Carney. Watching this game, the fact that he can run the ball and he's running it well, and he can throw the football. But again, he's playing, like you said, against Aaron Rodgers and company, and Cal should handle them.
You see the numbers on Arrington, 10 carries for 132 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Temple, final year in the Big East, but they're taking on an ACC team this time. Alvin Pierman takes the punt, and this is why Temple won't be in the Big East for another year.
The Big East is not afraid to lose these guys here, but Virginia is one of those teams that, everybody's saying the ACC this and that. If they have the kind of season that I think they can, Aaron, then they certainly make it stronger.
Yeah, Virginia's great, totally dominating the offense, 275 yards. Special teams really helping them out, getting that offense going.
Wally Lundy with 3 touchdown runs in the game. Central Florida against Wisconsin. We had a replay in this game, a little history in the Big Ten. Anthony Davis goes 9 yards, and Wisconsin with a 7-0 lead at that point, 20-3. Coming up, we will talk about some of the big changes that occurred in the offseason in college football, including the tweaking of the BCS and history in the SEC.
The Valvoline Halftime Show, brought to you by Valvoline Max Life, who reminds you at 75,000 miles, time to switch to Max Life.
This is the Valvoline Halftime Show. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor. Interesting offseason in college football. The BCS with the major changes now down to just 3 components. The coaches poll, USA Today and ESPN coaches poll, the AP poll, and the computers. It's just those 3 that will decide who plays in the Orange Bowl this year.
Yeah, well, I think what the biggest change that's going to bring is it's going to eliminate the strength of schedule. So what we might have starting a tendency to see is the bigger teams go out there and start padding their schedules with the like of DeVry School of Trucking or Weed Eater State. I mean, Texas Tech is playing some team that didn't even win a ball game last year. But schools need to be careful, SMU, Craig. Schools need to be careful because they can't pad it too much because voters have a tendency to remember whether or not teams played a tough schedule or not, which is the issue we saw last year with TCU and whether or not they deserve to be in the BCS championship.
Last time I looked, Notre Dame wasn't exactly walloping people out there, my friend. But this could be a nightmare for the small mid-major schools. The mid-majors have been saying, hey, we want to have more chances to get to the BCS Big Championship. You might get more chances, and that reality check's going to come hit them square in the mouth. I'll tell you what really has to hit square in the mouth would be the coaches when they make their votes. Now that they've got this 3rd vote weight, I mean, they've got to really take time. They got to educate the SID, the equipment manager. They got to make sure that they're giving real consideration before they put that vote in on Sunday.
Because the coaches do not get to see each and every game. Big change in the SEC. First African-American head coach ever in the conference. It's Sylvester Croom at Mississippi State.
Rode the bus with him to dinner one night this summer. We were going over for an event, and I like him. Everybody likes him. And the more those players and coaches and fans get a chance to see Sylvester Croom, the more they're going to realize we don't have an African-American or black guy or white guy or purple guy. We got a really nice human being coaching our football team that understands how to win. And give him time. They got to have players. He's got to go have time to get the players, but he'll get it done.
Yeah, I think there's no question Sylvester Croom is definitely up to the challenge. You know, his father was actually a consultant to Bear Bryant when Alabama was getting desegregated. So I think he's going to be the perfect guy. He's no stranger to adversity. He's going to go in there, give him some time, like you said, and let him see what happens. I think he's the right man for the job.
Yeah. In the ACC, huge change. Miami, Virginia Tech in this year. Boston College comes in next year, and then they'll go to a playoff.
You know, everybody's saying that they're the best conference right now out there. Let's wait. Let's hold your breath here. Hold your horses here, fellas, because we got to see it on the field first. And Miami, they're going to have a challenge. I tell you what, this is going to be we saw Virginia Tech, USC.
They showed up. They showed up and played. I think the ACC is a little bit top-heavy right now with Florida State, Miami, and Virginia Tech. Don't sleep on those guys now. It's going to be very interesting, but before you can throw out statements like the ACC is now without question the most dominant conference out there, it's college football, baby. Anything can happen.
Florida State and Miami is now a conference game. In fact, it was supposed to be played this coming Monday night, but because of Hurricane Francis, it's been moved to Friday night. We will have the game. And head coach Larry Coker of Miami says he recognizes the importance is even greater this year.
Now being a conference game, I think it even adds more to the importance of the game.
When you think that the rivalry can't get any bigger, and it just did.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports, home of the Bowl Championship Series.
Back in Ann Arbor, season 125 of Michigan football, a rarity. True freshman starting at quarterback, but Braylon Edwards and the other talented Michigan receivers able to help get 10 points on the board. Josh Betts replacing Ben Roethlisberger. Great game against Indiana State. He's been rushed and pressured. His 2 interceptions have turned into the only 10 points of the game. 10-0 in front of 110 grand here in the Big House, set for the third quarter on this steamy first Saturday of September. Mike Tirico, Terry Bowden, Tim Brandt, and Susie Schuster. What do you see in half number 2 here, Coach?
Well, Miami needs to be calm. Don't panic and be crazy in your play calling. Michigan has not shown the ability to drive half the distance. And the main thing is Miami of Ohio needs to be the next team to score. The Michigan defense is way too strong.
Yeah, I think Josh Betts has to get a rhythm. He has to get his timing back and his confidence. He hit 2 of his last 8. That was it, and 2 of those were interceptions. So he's got to find his timing, find his rhythm, throw on time, get that offense going again. Here's the highest scoring team in the country, and they're sitting on a goose egg.
That's right. 14 games in a row they have won. They get the ball to start the third quarter. And it's in the hands of the speedy Ryan Robinson. Had a punt return called back earlier in the game. Michigan has covered him well on kickoffs, and this drive will start from inside the 20-yard line.
I will say this, Mike. This is a cleanly played game. Only 2 penalties in the first half.
Very good point, Tim. Both on Miami.
Pacific Life game summary. First half stats, we told you only 2 penalties. That's certainly one. But if you go down to the turnovers and you see the 2 Miami turnovers, I mean, that's big. And it led to 7 points. They also, as we said, had a punt return called back. So it's not that big of a difference between these 2 teams in the first half, although you would expect that in the second half with the depth of Michigan.
Junior Josh Betts under center, and this drive will start with 1st and 15 instead of 1st and 10.
I mean, you don't want to go too early, but the what could have been's the punt return, call back for a touchdown.
Prior to the
interceptions on your own side of the field leading to 10 more points.
Number 79, everybody else moved, but the center did not snap the ball. 5-yard penalty remains first down.
There you go. You know,
it's on everybody.
It's great because it helps the fans in the sense the NCAA in general gets so much grief for small things that happen. There's a good one with the mindset of the fans involved.
Please reset the game clock to 14.
You know, we were so thankful. We were so thankful as coaches when they finally came over to us to tell us what number, so we could have a better understanding of how to correct it. Now this gives the fans a better understanding of how to see what happened.
I think it's funny we say only 2 penalties first half. We come out and start the second penalty. Looks like Flag Day.
All right, so 1st and 15 now for the junior Betts, and his pass is caught. R.J. Corbin, sophomore out of Indianapolis, who had 3 catches in the game against Indiana State. We're joined on the sidelines here by Susie Schuster. Suze?
All right, Mike, I spoke to Coach Hepner, who says we are just 30 minutes away from winning this game. He said, my defense hung in there. I'm fine with Josh Betts. He is still displaying confidence, and he will be just fine. He did say, however, that If that punt return had been a different call, this would have been a completely different game. Now, one thing to look for, humidity is rising, the sun is burning through, but the defense is staying cool, and let me show you how. They got a nice fan down here, Mike. This is the wind tunnel model effect from the 70s, and these guys are staying cool down here.
Betts moves it on to the 27-yard line. Yeah, that a little bit of a help, although it's always interesting to see, Susie, it's a little more primitive on that side compared to the other side where they have the cool zone fans. On the Michigan side, the home team has the best stuff, and the visitors get whatever you brought with you.
I got to be honest with you, Mike. I never liked that stuff when I was playing. Once I got a pretty good lather and my jersey was just soaking wet, that worked as a coolant. And then if you got in that, it kind of screwed up the chemistry. It's interesting.
I didn't know they had those when you were playing.
What, the fan? That technology just broke through. Yes. You see it on the black and white film newsreel recaps of Timmy's career. Michigan showing those 3 down linemen part of the package this year. 4 backers dropping coverage. This is 3rd down. First down.
Live ball.
Lost the ball.
Live ball.
And Michigan, let's see, there's no signal yet.
I think it came out of his hand like going backwards.
Yeah. They have it. They take over. Pierre Woods came up and made the pressure. Hepner said he was throwing. It was a throwing motion. We'll see a replay and might see if it is, in fact, replay.
Well, the motion came forward, but the ball rolled off of it.
See, I think it was off before his hand came forward.
One of the things officials look for in officiating seminars is the empty hand coming forward. And think of the words empty hand as you watch this replay.
Gone.
Yes.
See? It was backwards.
Yeah, ball never came
Live
forward.
ball.
And this is what really frustrates a coach. Nobody did anything wrong. There were no breakdowns. There were no errors. There were no missed assignments. The other team has the ball.
But that's sweat and heat that caused that.
That's right.
Wet hand.
Take over inside the red zone, and David Underwood takes the carry to the 13-yard line, a pickup of 3. Not only have we had 3 turnovers from Miami of Ohio, the returns on the interceptions, about 60 yards worth, and this one has given a very short field for the true freshman quarterback, Chad Henne in Michigan.
Boy, Terry Hepner, very emotional guy, wears his heart on his sleeve, quality man. Done such a marvelous job at Miami. Runner-up to the National Coach of the Year.
He's a great motivator. You know, some guys just act like head coaches. Their appearance as a head coach. He just has the appearance of a head coach.
Miami's falling apart. Another penalty. They jumped. Can't play Michigan and play yourselves too and beat yourself.
And you have to wonder if the lack of substitution, the inability to substitute as much as
prior to the snap, offside, number 65, defense. Made contact prior to the snap. That's a 5-yard penalty, remains 2nd down.
John Glavin penalized.
Well, like I was saying, you have to think the lack of being able to substitute, you're tired, you lose your concentration as we get into the second half. The depth that Michigan has would be a factor where the penalties come about also.
I think he knows. I think Hepner knows right now. They score. It's really a mountain to climb.
Needed something good to happen coming out of the locker room there with Q3 started. 2nd and 1. The senior from Texas, Underwood. 1st and goal, Michigan. His mom's name is Joy. And Joy Perks talked about the last year. She can't believe, even though all the build-up and it hasn't been as great a career as it could have been for David Underwood, she still gets tears in her eyes when she searches the tunnel and Hail to the Victors as the big banner's out and watching for number 5 in the blue jersey with the Mays number come up and hit the banner and run onto the field. She said, tears come in my eyes. I can't believe it's senior season already, and it's only another 5 or 6 times to see it, but to see him come out as the starter, what he's long dreamed of, an emotional day for her and for her son, who takes the 1st and goal handoff, gets the seal block, spills the goal line, and gets in. Touchdown, Michigan.
46 touchdowns in high school. He's got a 2nd here today.
Well, you know, in the fast Miami of Ohio defense stretched it out, but the offense locked on their blocks, kept them from separating, so the back was still able to find a crack crease and score the touchdown.
These haven't been exactly long scoring drives for Michigan. I think the first one was 14 yards, and the second one 9 yards. It's very short fields. He drives inside the red zone. Makes it a little bit easier for the true freshman quarterback, Henne. Extra point added by Garrett Rivas.
Mike, you're exactly right. Downhill, I mean, they start one drive, 14 yards, 17 yards, as you said. It's just like running downhill, and you can't stop them. Watch this burst. Bam! Underwood scores again.
The NFL kicks off Thursday night on ABC.
Wherever you are, South Bend, Columbus here, down in the SEC, the Big 12, Pac-10, football Saturdays. Nothing like them. Great to have them back. Good place to start our 39th consecutive year of college football here on ABC. In Ann Arbor, David Underwood has a couple of touchdown runs, both a yard each. And Michigan has a 17-0 lead on Miami of Ohio. Ryan Robinson, a penalty marker comes down as he's taken down out about the 27-yard line. Looks like another long field ahead for the Redhawks. The team with the nation's longest win streak at 14 in a row. But in some trouble right now.
During the return, illegal block in the back, above the waist, number 49 of the return team. That's a half the distance to the goal, first down.
So 3 penalties in the last 5 plays, if you count the kickoff as a play.
You know, if you're going to have a Ryan Robinson on your team, you got to eliminate those kicking game penalties. He's got too much ability to make big plays.
You see Matt Vogel, the backup tight end. He gave an easy to call one there. I was trying, Coach, really, I was trying not to get those hands in the bag and trying to pivot around him.
It was an effort penalty. Effort. I was trying to give extra effort.
Tripped up as he moves towards the line. I like Gabe Watson on that defensive front for Michigan. Out of Novi, a suburb not too far from Ann Arbor. Very solid player at 333 pounds.
Josh is just not throwing on time. We talked about 2 of his last 8 passes in the first half. That one was tipped. That wasn't his fault. But things are starting. He's not throwing on time. He's not throwing in rhythm. And as a matter of fact, 3 turnovers on his last 4 possessions, and that is a fumble.
Well, you know, Ben Roethlisberger started his career right here and had 3 interceptions. His first time starting against Michigan.
Play action, hit as he threw it into a crowd, incomplete for the backup tight end. Vogel, the intended receiver there. Michigan is getting to the quarterback, and that was some of the questions of the 3-4 window dressing of the defense. You said, Tim, made a good point. They've got people who can still get there, even though it's not 4 down.
Well, they do, and they've got a lot of people, and a lot of quality people. So eventually we knew they were going to wear down Miami. Miami's got quality people as well, but not as many of them. So in the heat, you figured the second half was going to belong to Michigan.
You know, I somehow keep thinking that Josh felt like it was his responsibility to make something happen early, and he didn't really have to do that.
3rd and 10 have been a lot of 3 and outs for Miami in this game, and it's going to be 3rd and even longer now.
Flag day continues. I jinxed him.
When it rains, it pours. When it comes to penalties.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 76, offense. Half the distance to the goal, remains 3rd down.
It's Charlie Norton, the freshman out of the Columbus, Ohio suburb of Dublin. They have a lot of good football players in Ohio. And that's part of the strength of this Miami of Ohio program, doing a good job recruiting in the state there. They like Norton to get in there as a freshman and start. Needs to get out to the 18. It's his throw, beautiful on the sideline to Martin Nance.
Oh, that is perfect. They were in a cover 2 defense where the cornerback gives it up to the safety. The safety was late coming over, and Betts hit him right in between the corner and the safety, and Nance was there for the catch.
19 yards on the reception.
I mean, Miami has got the receivers. They've got the quarterback. Look at this route he runs and the velocity that the quarterback puts it in the seam. They're going to be sick when they go back in the first half and see the mental mistakes that have caused them to be behind, not the fact that they can't play against these guys.
That's where I think Miami's offense looks the most comfortable. 4 wides, 1 back, out of the gun. Underneath route off the hands of Larkin. There have been a couple of balls that Betts would have his receivers held on to.
Right.
and his numbers would be better, their day would be better offensively.
Now, I agree. That was Larkin's fault. That ball's got to be caught.
Yeah, he's got to.
But at the same time, Betts had so much steam on it. He's got to take something off of, put a little air under.
That's the third high ball he's thrown to inside receivers. They should catch those, but he's got enough time that he's protected enough to get him in there.
One interesting part of the progression from Roethlisberger to Betts is that last year they were up so big in so many games, Betts got to play with these first-team receivers. There was a comfort zone between them. Out of the backfield, Mike Smith. That is just a very solid open field tackle by Leon Hall, the sophomore out of Vista, California. Gain of 1, 3rd and long coming up.
You know, you're talking about the quarterback situation at Miami. They just seem to reload when you go back to Mike Bath.
Yeah.
Then you had Roethlisberger come in, and now you've got Josh Betts come in. And it's the system. This system is so productive and so efficient for quarterbacks. It's just set up in that passing scheme for quarterbacks.
But like you said, Mike, they're so comfortable in that spread offense. The run just is something they do to keep them off the quarterback. But this is their comfort zone right here, this game and throughout the season.
3rd and 9. Michigan drops 8 in coverage. There's time for Betts to throw, but there's nobody open. And Miami of Ohio will kick it away.
Boy, he had his happy feet back there, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, he could feel pressure, but he didn't know where it was. It looked like he was tap dancing on a light bulb. Finally just threw a side armor.
It's one of those backup defensive linemen, Rondell Biggs, who came in to make the play. So they may not have a bunch of defensive linemen, but rotating them, and they are all pretty good. First punt since the first quarter. Steve Preston's dying to get a little room to run. Lofsig to kick it away.
Gone.
Take a bounce, and Breston will take it on the hop off the field turf. Pick up a couple of blocks and take it out to the 39-yard line. It was exciting. Both he and Ryan Robinson, the punt returners here. 49 on the kick, a dozen on the return. Michigan will take over right around its own 40. The defense pitching a shutout. Josh Betts can't get comfortable against the defense of Big Blue. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you this Saturday by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months, an American revolution. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. And Allstate. Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series. It all winds up 4 months from today on January 4 of 2005 at the FedEx Orange Bowl. That's where the Bowl Championship Series title game will be held. Can Michigan get there? It's a lot to ask on this team this year with the inexperience at the quarterback and the running back. Jerome Jackson, sophomore running back, is in the game and breaks out to the 45-yard line. First carry for Jackson is a pickup of a half dozen.
Yeah, if he had not stumbled, that play was gone. It looked like it had to have been the safety having a good angle to bring him down because he was gone.
Talked about how the coaches like to settle in on one guy, but with the game seemingly in hand, just going to go ahead. Jackson. We'll probably see Martin, Rembert, Hart. They love this little Hart kid.
Yeah, they talk a lot about him earlier in the week when we were at practice. He was a little scooter.
Michael Hart, true freshman out of Syracuse, New York. 2nd and 5, play action for the true freshman Henne. It deflected. It looked like a drop by Tyler Ecker, but a little bit of piece of the ball coming off the line made it tough to catch. 3rd down coming up, and our ABC Sports opening college football weekend continues. A doubleheader today, game 2. You'll see Oklahoma State travel to UCLA. Wake Forest taking on Clemson. A league opener for your brother Terry, to Tommy Bowden, and a lot of you in the Midwest and the Northeast. You'll see Michigan State in Piscataway taking on Rutgers. It's all coming up next on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Tab Perry, UCLA, just got clearance, and he's going to be able to play in that game today.
Important for Carl Durrell's team, in need of a turnaround this year. Henne with a pocket to throw, and Massaquoi, the tight end, first down at the 39-yard line, a pickup of 15. And really, since that opening quarter, Henne is settling in a little bit more as well.
You talk about guys throwing on rhythm, in rhythm, on time. I mean, this time he just dropped. Watch how confident he is. He's immediately looking at the safety, steps up, and his tight end does the quick out, and the ball's there, let her high. I mean, it was just perfect.
Shame he doesn't throw a good-looking ball, huh?
It's awful.
Not a good-looking throw.
You can almost count the revolution.
When they can throw that deep out, now that wasn't the wide side of the field, but when they can throw the deep out, that means they pretty much can throw everything you got.
Rick Leach 25 years ago, last time a true freshman started at quarterback. Reverse for Braylon Edwards. Very well-disciplined Miami team kept that play from becoming something.
Trinaine Sills almost got a gift. He came in, he was there, and Edwards was bobbling the ball in his face.
I think he just fell down and got up. By the time he got up, the reverse was back to him.
Sills' eyes got big as saucers. He said, that ball's up for grabs. Watch this, Terry. Watch him bobble right in front of Sills. Whoop.
But Terry, you see that on film, and that tells you a well-coached team, well-disciplined team.
Disciplined team. They stayed in position. They didn't get sucked in. I thought Michigan had too many people leading the reverse around that brought people back to the play.
2nd and 11. This little bubble screen to Breston. Get it in the hands of the speedster. And Breston gets it to the 31, a couple of yards shy of the first down.
Okay, they've just turned the page. They're starting to open up the playbook now. They're starting to work some things in. They want everybody to get in the flow of this game. But I will say this about Miami. They still have not quit. You watch this defensively. Oh, how about the block by Edwards? But you look, there's still a lot of white jerseys flying to the football. Otherwise, this could have been a big play. So bottom line is Miami has not quit.
I'll tell you what, I saw Braylon yesterday, 6'3", 210. Boy, he has tightened up, worked out hard in this offseason. He really, really looks good this year.
And that was the one thing Lloyd Carr said about the receivers. Not that they were great receivers, but they were unselfish and would block.
Jerome Jackson tries to hit the hole. Will Roof had the first hand on him, but it's yardage sufficient for a Michigan first down.
You talk about receivers. Edwards going for his 3rd straight 1,000-yard receiving season. Big guy, 6'3", 208 pounds, very physical receiver. That's something. 3 straight years of 1,000. Look at this. These are the all-time reception leaders. Walker, AC, and there's Edwards.
And he's not just smooth on the field. He's smooth in conversation, polite. This guy is so polished, folks. You're going to love him when you get him out there in the NFL where he has all that time to talk.
Nice shifty move by Jerome Jackson to elude a tackle and take it out to the 20-yard line and make him no mistake. There's a senior in Underwood, a junior in Rembert, Jackson a sophomore, and each gets his opportunity, and they are hungry to show, hey, Coach Carr, give me more carries.
Not too hard to pick up a tailback. When you're recruiting for Michigan, not too hard going out there and, hey, guys, you want to play for Michigan to be a tailback? And don't mind waiting your turn because everybody does.
Well, this is showtime, too. I mean, there were a couple question marks at center and at tackle. Those jobs were open. The running backs, guys were still vying for the position. And, of course, quarterback.
2nd and 3. Henne on the boot. To Edwards. Touchdown, Michigan.
Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Yeah, Timmy, you were all over this early on. That at halftime, second half, hot day, first game, when Henne, the true freshman, gets a little confidence under him, be very tough. His first career Michigan touchdown pass, and picked a pretty good target to get it to.
Well, the story of Chad Henne is a good story because of the defense, the way they took the ball away early, kept giving him chances to make things happen on his own side of the field.
Braylon Edwards could have been on his way to the NFL. Instead, he stayed and caught Chad Henne's first collegiate touchdown pass. 24-0 Michigan. It hasn't always been a little slice of heaven with Braylon Edwards in his days here at Michigan. He had to deal with a lot of the, I guess, expectations and build-up and wearing number 1. He and Lloyd Carr banged heads a couple of times over some individualistic things, and there's no room for that in this program. And Edwards has learned his way and the Michigan way. And boy, here's a young man who's matured and has become one of the best threats as a pass receiver and one of the pretty good leaders of this football team as well.
You know, Mike, when I was playing, I never wanted to come out of a game because I really thought the guy that came in and took my place could beat me out. And we may have seen that today. You have to feel for Gutierrez, who has a bad shoulder, didn't get the start. Surprisingly, Henne comes in. He's their quarterback of the future. I just think it happened earlier than anybody anticipated. He got a start. Listen to this. In their last 5 possessions, Michigan's field goal, touchdown, the half brought the drive to an end. Right. Touchdown, touchdown.
Wow. You know, I don't think people sometimes realize what we're seeing here. A true freshman with about 2 days knowing he's going to start his first game in college at Michigan and come back in here and performing as well as he has performed.
Down 24-0. Luke Clemens with a carry, and he can't get back to their line of scrimmage. This Michigan defense is dialed in now. They've kept Miami of Ohio to 120 yards in the first 2.5 quarters. At the conclusion of today's game, we will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Seems like that's been going on as long as people have been coming to this stadium to watch football. Chevrolet's involvement with college athletics, college football Saturday, so special. Great to have it again this year. 2nd and 11, they flush Josh Betts. He's going to just run it. Trying to get out of the way of the big hit that was coming just shy of the 30-yard line. Down to the field, and Susie Schuster.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. I'm with Ben Roethlisberger, and you're shaking your head on that run right there. What are you shaking your head for?
I was having deja vu. That was my first play when I got my nose broke here. I told Josh needs to get out of bounds, but he's a hard-nosed kid.
You know a little something about what it means to make your first career start in the big house. What's he going through?
You know, probably a lot of emotions, a lot of things run through his head. Obviously, 110,000 people here. It's a big game, big crowd for him. I think he's doing well. We just got to put some points on the board. Susie, we'll get back to you and Ben after this 3rd and 1. Roethlisberger, the former quarterback here, first-round pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Clemens runs it. He'll be close to the first down. And while they check it out, let's go back to Susie.
All right, Mike, thanks again. And what kind of advice will you give him after this game? He may be feeling a little down about himself.
You know, the big thing is just keep your head up. You know, bad things happen. You got to learn from it. Not everyone always has good games. I've had plenty of bad games. Everyone will have bad games. So the thing is, learn from your mistakes, get better every week, and, work hard this week in practice.
All right, you're in the pros now, of course, a backup quarterback with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Give me your analysis out here. Is it Michigan's defense that's getting them, or is it the team getting themselves? You know,
I think we're kind of beating ourselves a lot, but Michigan obviously is a great team. And I think the big thing is we just got to keep fighting.
Martin Nance doing that for you, Ben. Look at him. Man, Ben's rooting for him all the way down to the 25-yard line. That's a pickup of about 44 yards there. Martin Nance with a long run. There's a marker on the play, and this encapsulates what has happened here this afternoon. Miami has some success, but finds a way not to close the deal.
Yeah, that play took so long to develop, you have to think that somebody was holding with Betts working around the backfield that long.
Holding, number 79, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
All right, let's go back to Susie, wrap it up with Ben Roethlisberger.
You're shaking your head on that play. You said a big play. A flag's going to come back. Is this just the way the game is going for this team today?
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's tough for our guys, especially you have a big play like that. You get adrenaline going, thinking that, you got a little drive going, and then you look down and see a flag. Nothing worse as a quarterback after you have a big play to look down and see a flag.
I know the guys were happy to look over, though, and see you. Mike, let's go right back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Susie. They didn't know Roethlisberger was coming. He talked to Coach Hepner during the week and told him he was going to come on out here, and the players didn't know and saw Ben before the game. It's just one of those small things because of the special relationship between Ben and Terry.
That's when your program's going in the right direction, when you have the big guys, the alum come back and really keep an active part in the program.
1st and 20 after the flag from their own 20 instead of 60 yards down the other way. Back to Martin Nance, inbounds at the 33-yard line. By the way, Roethlisberger in Pittsburgh is behind Tommy Maddox. And a couple of nights ago, the last Steeler preseason game, the fans were chanting for Ben. And that always happens when you're the backup quarterback,
sure,
but he's going to be in there before too long.
This is a good route right here, but this is the best pass that Josh Betts has thrown in a while. I mean, he put some zip on that thing. He got it there right where his receiver could make the catch, and Martin Nance will make the catch.
Yeah, they're substituting, and they're keeping him running around there in the backfield, too. Not a lot of time to set your feet at this point in the game.
Pickup of a dozen, 2nd and 8. 4.5 left here in the third. Big pressure from Michigan. Betts trying to get away, and that time he held on. Lost a few yards. Alex Ofili on the nose came up and made that play for Michigan.
Still tried to throw it, Mike, and it wouldn't have been a good decision. He's been doing that all day. This is what he's got to learn. He's got to learn just to eat the ball, take your lumps, go down with it, and the play's over. But, I mean, see, he's got good vision here, but he can feel the backside pressure and starts to bail out. But watch as he's going down, even looks to throw it. That would have been an ill-advised pass and probably another pick.
He's going to have plenty of opportunity to learn this game because they're going to be coming after him more and more and more. We'll see if he gets better before the end of the game.
Well, he'll be better for it as the season goes on. I don't think they're going to face a defense like this again this year. Underneath, it's caught by Larkin, and Michael Larkin will have a first down out at the 44-yard line.
And remember, last year, Ben Roethlisberger throws 3 interceptions. They lose 21-3 against Iowa, and they win then 13 straight all the way up to this game. So this is just a game they've got to learn from if they don't get closer and get back in and not look like it as the end of something they were shooting for this season.
Oh, make no mistake about it. I mean, they're talented. This is a nice play here, how they clear it out. They're in a zone, but they run them out, and then they come back underneath. And they have Larkin there underneath to make the catch. They've got speed everywhere. They've got talent. There's no question it's a talented ball club.
Here comes Luke Clemens. He is met by Scott McClintock, the inside linebacker. Has played in 26 games, but here is some of that difference you talked about, Tim. Michigan loses a very good linebacker in Carl Diggs, and now what happens? Well, you have a guy who's been in 26 games, played significant role. He steps in as your starter, so you know you're going to be good in that position for Jim Herman. They're very, very good defensive coordinator.
Oh, there's no question about that. They just, you know, you look at Jim Herman, really good at disguising defenses, changing just before the snap, loves to attack and create negative yards, and he does that by bringing in a lot of players. And Mike, you're right, you're all over this. They just reload.
They just brought in Grant Mason, a corner who transferred from Stanford, seeing his first action this afternoon. That's a deep throw, incomplete. They try to get the speedster Ryan Robinson behind Marcus Curry, and we'll have third down coming up.
You know, with the great teams, it's red shirt, backup starts. That red shirt, backup starts. Now, you really want to sit back and get your time doing all the things you're supposed to, become a part of the program, run the scout team, the demo team as they call it. Then the last 2 years, really, the great programs, that's where you want to contribute.
And sometimes, Coach, you have a hard time doing that. If you have a bunch of seniors and you have success, sometimes you have to take that half step back, that development year, to wait for those guys to fit into that training. 3rd and 10. Oh, the third option is there. Beautiful play to the 40-yard line. Pass caught by R.J. Corbin.
And how about the play by Stewart? Stewart comes over the safety and just perfectly took him inside out and laid him on his back.
Eyed him up well, put the bonnet right between the numbers. I'm going to tell you, locked him up in open field. That's not a bad job.
That guy right there, he knows the difference between come here and sick him.
Yes.
Jacob is a junior from Ypsilanti, where eastern Michigan is, just about 8 or 9 miles from here.
Look at this. You can't tackle any better than that.
Ypsilanti's exit 183, Timmy. You were talking about Jersey and exits. Where this is exit 177. Ypsi's 6 exits up the road here.
This is a good series for Betts.
Come back across the field. He got stuck after he threw it, but found Robinson at the 19-yard line for a first down. Betts hung in there after he took that shot.
But he's throwing so much better. You know, it's like when you're playing golf and things aren't going well, you start trying to guide the ball. Finally, you just say, all right, I'm going to start swinging and chasing the ball wherever it goes. Well, he just is firing the ball now, and he looks like Josh Betts from last week. I mean, he's putting some mustard on the ball.
Yeah, I like this receiver, too. Robinson really has the ability to get the ball and then make people miss after he catches it.
First snap in the red zone for Miami of Ohio here this afternoon.
Listen to the fans. They're yelling for a shutout. They don't want him to score.
A little trickeration down here in the hands of Robinson, who's faking the throw, looking for space.
You know, he wasn't faking it, Mike. I think he was looking for a receiver, and the receiver never got out there.
No receiver ever went downfield.
No.
It was a halfback pass.
To New York and John Saunders. John?
Big question in college football. Can Jason White win back-to-back Heismans? He's off to a pretty good start. 29 yards to Will Peoples. Terrific catch. They missed the point after, but now the Sooners are up 30-10.
20-point lead there for Oklahoma over a MAC school. 24 points the advantage for Michigan over Miami of Ohio.
Oh, you got to throw a flag on that. Didn't you think he got there early again?
Grant Mason, I thought he tackled Martin Nance before Nance could get to it. It's incomplete, and third down coming up. John mentioned back-to-back Heisman trophies. Of course, Archie Griffin doing that, 74, 75. And we'll be in Columbus next week to see the Buckeyes.
All over. Come on, throw a flag.
You got to call that, folks. That hand is all around. It's the other arm. It's the arm behind him that was wrapped.
Come on, fellas. Help the boys from Ohio just a little bit.
It was a break there. And again, that's not an instant replay type of call. Has to be an out-of-bounds, a goal line, or something.
Shouldn't need a replay to make that call.
Well.
3rd and 16. Michigan showed man coverage, dropped back a little bit of zone. Betts has to find a place to throw. Luke Clemens So the 19, they'll have 4th and 9, and it's a 24-0 game with a minute to go. You want to try to get the first down, you want to get on the board here. Reminder, time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report with John Craig and Aaron Taylor back in the studio with highlights and analysis of today's matchups.
It's good to see Luke Clements back in the ball game.
There are the guys. We were talking about Matt Gutierrez, the quarterback who was supposed to start for Michigan from De La Salle High School. Aaron Taylor also De La Salle player, among the many who've gone on to professional and college success.
Aaron's lost some LBs.
That's right.
That looked the same, though, when I was there, and I'd be putting my arm around their waist in that studio.
A little higher, a little taller. 36 yards on this attempt. And we have a whistle for a timeout. That's one of the small rule changes in college football this year. The head coach can request a timeout. Only the head coach among sideline personnel, and Heppner was able to get one there. So we'll be back to see if Miami goes for the field goal right after this.
This summer, critics have hailed only one new reality show, and that show is ABC's Wife Swap. Though other networks who shall remain nameless have copied it.
Are they nuts?
Only Wife Swap raises the bar for reality TV.
Brad has his faults, but God, I love him to death. I don't spend enough time with my children, and I do not want to let that go.
Wife Swap. The original is coming Wednesday, September 29th, 10/9 Central, and only on ABC.
Back for the time after the timeout. Michigan 24, Miami nothing. Opportunity to get on the board, and Terry Heppner was a little unhappy. Why? Because his kicker, Jared Parsegian, wasn't on the field. Wasn't paying attention. Yeah, the great-grandnephew of the legendary Ara.
That's a timeout that they took by necessity. The play clock was coming down, and they were going to get a penalty and probably take him out of his range. So they had to make the timeout, and that's why it looked like Terry Heppner was upset.
Not the strongest leg, but very consistent. Made about 18 straight Mid-American Conference record last year. The senior out of Sylvania, Ohio. The 36 on the kick. Miami of Ohio trying to get on the scoreboard. And they do. And it's 24-3 here in the final seconds of the third. Well, we mentioned Ara, and when you talk about Miami of Ohio, so many great coaches have come through Oxford, Ohio, and as those of you who follow college football know, it's known as the cradle of coaches. Just go back over the generations. And we have Randy Walker, who we saw with Northwestern, take on TCU on Thursday, but you go back. Bill Mallory, Bo Schembechler, before he came to Michigan, was there because he was there with Woody, and there's Woody Hayes down there after Ara, 49-50. Go back to Sid Gilman, the great passing guru. So many great head coaches with ties to Miami. Absolutely.
Timmy and I sat with Bo Schembechler, on Thursday and talked with him. The one thing he said, no, I was never a Red Hawk. I was a Redskin. That's what he said.
That was
sure. Yeah, he said I was, but he was classic. What a great opportunity to sit and talk to Bo. And he'd get to those players. He'd get up there and he'd start coaching them. He'd start coaching. They would listen. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He just was coaching you at practice the other day.
He was a little coaching me.
Was he coaching about how to be an announcer? Because Bo did this for a while.
He told me about his trip to Wyoming.
Bo has some great stories of his games out on the road.
He said I was a Redskin. Terry said, we got to be decent now. We're politically correct.
That's right. Got to be politically
Red Hawks. Red Hawks.
The Red Hawks.
Bo's still around these parts. He goes down to Florida for the winter, but football season, he's around here summertime as well. Still great to spend time around the legendary Michigan coach, who was hired on Christmas Eve of '68. 51 alum of Miami of Ohio. Pierre Rembert on the return, put the football on the ground, but was bailed out by Brian Thompson, a reserve fullback, on the fumble recovery. You talk about the ties. John Falk is the equipment manager at Michigan. He's one of those legendary guys, been here for a couple of decades. He's an old Miami of Ohio guy. Miami of Ohio's athletic director, Brad Bates, was a Michigan DB. Lloyd Carr was his position coach.
How about that?
Lloyd Carr would have been happy with that fumble, but it was recovered by his team, up 24-3 after 3. And we're back with more after this message and a word from your ABC station.
watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Off we go to quarter number 4 of the Big House with Terry Bowden, Tim Brandt, Susie Schuster, Mike Tirico. 24-3. Michigan on top after a scoreless first quarter. Michigan led 10-0 at the break and had 2 touchdowns in the third.
Here's the guy.
Just about 2 yards for Jerome Jackson, the sophomore, on the handoff there. Of course, Michigan, so many great teams, more wins than any other school in college football history. So many great players and legacy from generation to generation. So many familiar names we're seeing come back into the Big House, and now some of their children on this football team over the years. Second and 8. And the true freshman Henne throws for Braylon Edwards, in and out of his hands. Third down coming up.
See, he was listening to you and he wasn't concentrating on the ball.
His dad Stan wouldn't be very happy with that, right? Former great player here. 110,815 in the house today, the largest crowd ever to see a Mid-American team play. The 181st consecutive game with 6-figure attendance, over 100,000. Go back to 1975.
You know, you think of Michigan, you think of Tennessee, you think of Penn State, all well over 100,000 now vying for that. It's almost like an arms race. You're trying to get bigger all the time, adding seats.
Next week we'll be in Columbus. You better mention the Horseshoe also.
That's right.
They're not going to let us in.
What are they up to now?
Oh, they're 100 and something, I know.
Yeah, they're right under that number there. They're right close to it. Oh, some pushing and shoving behind the play after the sack by Marcus Johnson, who got in there for Miami of Ohio. There's Marcus out of Youngstown. And Michigan will be forced to kick it away. Good job by the Miami of Ohio defense.
You know, if you're one of the Miami coaches, you're thinking, gosh, we just get another touchdown. We're feeling pretty good about ourselves. As bad as we played earlier, with turnovers, with mistakes, another touchdown may not affect the outcome of this game, but using this game as an example.
Well, you have a punt returner who can make something happen quick in Ryan Robinson. This is a terrific punt, though. Back to the 29. Will the coverage be able to get to the big kick?
There
Robinson, the wall. Got another great block and made a great move on the punter. And Ryan Robinson inside the 10 and all the way down to the 1-yard line.
I watched the film of him last week, and then this game here. This guy, I have not seen one like this in a long, long time.
He is some kind of special. And Michigan now saying they had 2 blocks in the back, and they didn't get the call this time. But you know, you get some justice here. He is so fast, so silky smooth. Watch this, and watch how fast the wall sets. This is a 70-yard return. He comes down, and as they show the replay now, they're starting to boo up there because of the block in the back. That was one, and now here comes the other, right near the end. Bam.
That was Cyborowski, 18, who had the block in the back on the first one. That would have been a touchdown. If that would have been called, he would have never heard the end of the day.
I'll tell you, Coach, you said if they score, there's still plenty of time. They've got over 13 minutes to go.
Trying to make it 24-10. Mike Smith is met, stood up, and shut down.
You know, people didn't hear us earlier. Ryan Robinson had 3 punt returns for touchdowns last week. 2 were called back for penalties. He had 1 earlier today. That's 5 punt returns for touchdowns. I want to say all over 65 yards. Incredible.
Well, the first game of the year, it's hard to make a comment like this, but I'll be hard-pressed to find a returner that's better than him right now.
Remember Perkins against UCLA last year? That was the last time I remember.
3 touchdowns.
Against the Bruins.
John at the Great Line in the studio. Stop kicking to him at some point, will you?
My son was chasing him all day.
Second and goal. Smith took it to the outside. Gets into the end zone. And Miami of Ohio is answered with 10 quick points.
How about this turn of events?
You know, I don't want to say that, and I want to say this again, special teams. Michigan lost 2 games last year to Oregon and Iowa. Both came because of punt blocks or punt returns to special teams. They hire Coach Mike DeBoer to come back and coach special teams. They've worked hard, but they're really going to be upset when they come back and see the punt return coverage that they've had.
That's some great blocking there. You know, we talked about, fellas, the depth of Michigan, but what Miami has is the speed and guys that can get you back into a ball game in a hurry.
Todd Soderquist, the other place kicker, comes on and adds the extra point in 2.5 minutes. Miami of Ohio has said, hold the phone. We're still here. Still have time. It's not that far from Ann Arbor down to Oxford. We're not ready to board the bus just yet. 14-point game. Well, it's fitting that the drive was 2 plays and 2 yards because number 2 took care of most of the business. Ryan Robinson, the 70-yard punt return to set up the touchdown run for Mike Smith out of Twinsburg, Ohio. And Miami of Ohio's defense can come up with a 3-and-out. There is plenty of time for the Redhawks to get back even closer.
The defensive unit's been solid all day. They aren't giving up a whole lot of yardage and not a lot of big plays.
I tell you, the Miami offense, almost as much yardage as Michigan here. It's very close except for the early turnovers. Real important series here right now for Miami and Michigan. Critical series.
Grant Mason is back deep to receive. Takes it in the end zone, and Carl Tabb, the junior receiver, tells him to stay back here. Well, another one of those receivers, Braylon Edwards, likely to come on the field for this Michigan offense. We mentioned Edwards, a great name, and maize and blue in the past. And our weekly alumni report takes us back to Braylon's dad. Remember the old introductions to the ABC football games? Stan Edwards, the tailback, running on the carpet up in East Lansing against the Spartans. What a great career he had, 77 on through the early 80s on a couple of 10 championship teams here at Michigan, and now his son, part of the Big Ten title team last year, and this team, Ohio State and Iowa, the sheet picks for most in the league. True freshman quarterback Henne has a little pressure, 80 yards, and a handoff to the fullback. What? Kevin Dudley finally got a carry for the first time in his Michigan career, and he got 7 yards to the 27-yard line. Susie Schuster standing by with Braylon's dad.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Braylon's dad, you must hear that all the time. Are you used to that, or do you still want to say, you know, I'm the former back at Michigan?
Well, actually, it's music to my ears now. I told him when he first came to school here, he was always known as Stan Edwards' son. I said, you can change that, and he's done a great job of changing it. It's music to my ears to be known as Braylon Edwards' dad.
How bizarre is it for you to watch your kid play on the same field you played on?
Very bizarre. The first time he took the field as a freshman, it was pretty emotional for me, and I had a hard time kind of handling it, but it's absolutely a joy. I wish every parent can enjoy something like this, to watch their child maximize their potential.
Mike Tirico alluded to his newly found maturity that he's entered the season with. How have you seen that develop?
Well, every young man goes through a maturation process, and I think he's done a great job at it. He's a very hard worker. He's someone who understands what it takes to be better. He's gotten better every year, and he'll graduate from college under 4 years.
Now, I'm holding in my hands a #1 jersey, and I think you're familiar with this. This is your kid's #1 jersey. But another guy who wore this jersey, I don't know if you've heard of him, a guy named Anthony Carter.
Yeah, I have.
Do you see any comparisons with the guy you played with?
Well, two different type of receivers. Was Anthony Carter, to this date, is the greatest college wide receiver to ever play. And Braylon has films at his house of when I played and watching Anthony for a long time. So he's always idolized Anthony, wanted to be just like him.
Stan, thanks so much for your time. Mike, let's go back up to you.
Thank you, Suze. They could have used one of those Stan Edwards runs there to pick up a first down. Miami stopped him 3 and out. No, hang on now. It's 24-10. And Superman in red and white without the cape. #2, Ryan Robinson's ready for a punt return.
That's the second, third, and less than one they didn't make. The very first series they didn't make it. They didn't make it that. That's what Michigan has been able to do when they have great offense. Missed it twice so far.
Put your seatbelt on, partner. Here comes Robinson again.
Oh, my gosh.
Adam Finley, the fifth-year senior, almost outkicked his coverage last time. This one a little bit better hang time, but it's also really deep. 55 yards, and here goes Robinson. Room to run to the right.
Look out.
He's going to come left, pick up another block, and on his way again. This guy's unbelievable.
Are you kidding me?
To the 38-yard line, Ryan Robinson is putting on a show in the Big House.
I don't care if it is the first game, Mike. He's got my All-American ballot. There's not a better return guy in the country.
44 yards on that one, and Miami of Ohio is back in great field position.
Pound for pound. Now, like I told you earlier, I'm going to say 5'7" tops. This guy puts in more movement. He is not a big fella, and they cannot see him. It's hard to see this guy when you're trying to get off a block.
No, but he's got great speed, and I tell you, he's a hide-and-seek runner. He hides behind the big guys because he is small, seeks the hole, and then explodes.
Gosh, he's got great vision of the field. Comfort running the football, so controlled.
Officially 46 yards on that return after the 70. They have 110,000 that were just watching Michigan kind of ease its way through the season opener. A little anxious. From the 39, Josh Betts down the middle. It's down to the 16-yard line. Josh Williams with the grab.
Mike, I'm going to tell you right now, you can feel the atmosphere in this stadium changing dramatically now. And if they score here, look out. It's gotten very quiet in the big house.
That's what I was going to say. I was amazed at how loud it was when it started. It's quiet as can be now, and these players are so full of enthusiasm. The Miami players are so excited right now, and there's nothing to get on them from the stands. The stands need to step up.
5 minutes ago on the game clock, it was 24-0 Michigan. A Miami field goal at the end of the third. A touchdown in the fourth. And now Luke Clemens carries to the right. Cannot run out of the arms of Roy Manning.
Clemens is one of those guys, a former walk-on who 2 years ago was a 1,000-yard rusher. Missed most of last year with an injury, but now he's back, and it just gives him a little more depth at running back.
They were good. They had two good running backs in Mike Smith and Cal Murray last year. Murray ran for over 1,000 yards. He's graduated. Clemens coming back to health has split the time with Smith here today. They haven't run for much, only 18 rushing yards for Terry Hepner's team. A couple of sacks in there, factor in. 2nd and 10. That's his 4 options. Intercepted! He threw it right to Ernest Shazor! Ernest Shazor, see you later! Back-breaking 89-yard Michigan touchdown!
The big house is back.
It's back. Talked about those cornerbacks. Shazer is an incredible safety. He comes and makes the play of the ball game.
Out of Martin Luther King High School in Detroit, the 6'4 senior who's got a chance to be one of the best safeties Michigan's ever had.
2 things on that play, though. Mike Betts never saw Shazer, never saw him, and then Clemens never looked back for the ball, didn't even know it was thrown.
Extra point, no good, off the upright. It will be a special teams meeting that it would be interesting to be in the back of the room for. 30-10, Michigan pushed back to the wall, but Ernest Shazor has the 3rd longest interception return in Michigan history and his first career touchdown. From America's Motor City, ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles defying convention. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Miller, there's good enough. And there's better. And it has to be. Miller, good call.
Okay.
On the southern edge of the campus here in Ann Arbor, Ernest Shazor from Detroit. Officially credited him 88 yards. Still the 3rd longest interception return in Michigan football history. And that's a whole mess of games. Brian Robinson has been handled on kickoff returns. Punt returns, he's been impossible to stop. Take us back to the touchdown, Terry.
I mean, all you got to do is follow the running back on this play and watch the running back, as you see in this play coming out of the backfield. And Josh Betts, he's got to see when it's covered, he's got to throw it away. He gets pressured early, and he can't let the play develop. Throw it away. Don't throw what you don't see, and he couldn't see that safety right there, able to catch the ball. That play is designed to go much deeper down the field.
Hey, watch this. Here comes the pressure. He's got to throw it away right there.
Exactly.
Clemens never looks back. Clemens never looks back, and he never saw Shazer. Shazer had his eyes, reading the eyes of the quarterback the entire way.
Shazer was covering with a tight end, was not covering the back. He was just sitting right there ready to make it happen.
Betts this time looking for an open receiver, and it's knocked down as Sean Crable, the sophomore, came in to knock it away. He's out of Massillon, Ohio. You know, guys, you give the credit to Shazer for the interception, and when you look back years from now, but in the film room, when Jim Herman shows that and they talk about it, a lot of the credit will go to Gabe Watson for fighting off almost a double team, really, and getting through the block to force Betts to make a poor decision.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I mean, it was that pressure at that time. The play wasn't going to have time to develop. He's got to make a decision. I'm just going to throw it away. We'll get him next play.
Well, Gabe's a big guy. He's been getting back in the backfield throughout the second half.
Betts throws in the middle. That's 4 or 5 times. One of those hot shots for a receiver couldn't be reeled in. Josh Williams, the drop there.
Let it into his body, and it just bounced off his chest plate.
10. Betts lost the snap, now picks it up. And throws another pick. Marcus Curry has that one. And he has some blocks down the sideline. Marcus Curry inside the 10. The ball came out, goes out of bounds. Last controlled by Michigan. It'll be their ball at the 7.
There will be better days for Josh Betts.
And I'm not sure you pull him out right now and set him down and talk to him, because that's very, very foolish. The other one was bad enough. That one was entirely foolish. He's covered. He's got a lot of coverage on this receiver. There's coverage all over. He drops it. Just throw it away. This guy has everybody on him.
Out of bounds by Rule.
Marcus Curry is right there.
Spot of the ball. It will still be Michigan's ball. First down.
Curry was shaken up for a moment on the play, and he's being helped to the sideline there. You see he's in some pain.
But right now, I mean, he dropped the snap. Nothing is on time. Nothing is in rhythm. Everything's out of sync.
Let me tell you, if you've got a quarterback that can take snap, set him down a series. Get his attention, because what he cannot do is lose his composure. They've got to ride him the rest of the season now, and he's made some mistakes, mental mistakes that he can't make.
That's the 4th interception he's thrown today, 2nd one for Curry.
Well, and when people look at this score, 30-10, and they're ready to add to it, they're going to say, man, Michigan just blew them out. But 24 of the 30 points came on turnovers.
And Miami has one more yard of total offense than Michigan right now.
The quarterback, the true freshman, Chad Henne, hands to Jerome Jackson, who's met at the 9-yard line. Penalty marker down as Rehag made the tackle.
It's going to be holding against Michigan.
That's going to bring it way back, too, because it was in the backfield.
You know, Coach, one thing that every coach talks about in a game when you look at stats or different things, it's obviously what you do on 3rd down, what happens with turnovers, and also hidden yards. We'll talk about that in a second.
Holding, number 88, offense. That's a 10-yard penalty, previous spot, repeat, first down.
Miami's punt returner, Ryan Robinson's had 139 yards in punt returns. That's a great field position 4 different times, and that's without the 68-yarder that was called back for the penalty. Now, that helps you unless you do this. Michigan has 170 yards of interception returns in this game. So all the good field position you have, not only do you turn it over, you also give Michigan a lot of field position plus the score.
Mike, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, 24 of their 30 points came on those interceptions, on those turnovers.
Yeah, this is one of those when you look back at the film in the film room the weekend, you're going to go back and shoot yourself for the mistakes that you made. But I said this earlier, Josh Betts, I think he felt so much pressure to go out and win this thing. When the quarterback change happened at Michigan, it should have changed his thinking that you don't have, this thing needs to remain close. Don't do it. Michigan's not going to go out there and necessarily take this thing away offensively. We can play this thing. Let this thing be a defensive game on both sides. And they tried to make it an offensive game for Miami, and they didn't have to do that.
It's still 2nd and goal. Remember, this drive started inside the 10. Penalty back, the Wolverines up. Henne to Edwards. Great catch. Braylon Edwards. Touchdown, Michigan. Number 2 for number 1 today.
Hey, Stan, how's the boy doing?
When you put that 1 on your back, that's what you're supposed to do when you wear number 1 at Michigan.
Pretty good coverage. As a matter of fact, for a second, it looked like it was going to be intercepted.
Yeah, bad
Ball's
throw.
thrown high, tips it to himself, and catches it, traps it with his knees for the touchdown.
Quarterback will get a minus. In the film room, he'll get a nice touchdown, but, son, don't throw that one again.
That extra point hit the right upright. The last one hit the left upright. So Garrett Remus unable to convert there, and his special teams meeting is getting more interesting as the game grows on. 2 catches in the second half for Braylon Edwards. Both the first 2 touchdowns of Chad Henne's career. 36-10 Michigan. Braylon Edwards, 2 touchdowns today, 26 for his Michigan career. 11 behind Anthony Carter. That's the toughest of the Michigan records to get. He's moved up on the reception chart. And 17 now of Marquise Walker on that one. Kick off to Ryan Robinson again. He put it up in the air on the ground, and the Wolverines had a lot of Mason Blue at the bottom of the pile. I'd be surprised if they didn't come up with this recovery.
Ryan's just exhausted now.
Yeah. He ought to be. Somebody knocked the pop out of him, I'll tell you right now.
I think it was Brandon Engelman. And Michigan does have it. Prescott Burgess on the bottom of the pile comes up with the recovery. And let's see if it was Engelman who caused the hit. Yep.
Now, do we see Clayton Richard here get him some work now? Is it about time, 36?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, your freshman was a surprise starter. He came in, he had the nerves early, went 2 for 5 in the first quarter, 23 yards. Then he settled down. Since then, he's gone 12 of 19, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And so now you make the change at quarterback.
Engelman made the hit that caused the fumble, and as you called for, Coach, Clayton Richard, the sophomore, 6'4", 232 out of Lafayette, Indiana. His first snaps for the lefty as Michigan quarterback. Jerome Jackson on the handoff, doesn't gain much. That was the 6th turnover of the day, guys. First 5 turned into, as Tim told you, 30 points. And if you make turnovers in week 1, leads to a lot of points. We'll see if other teams did that on the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Time permitting, with John, Craig, and Aaron in the studio. Highlights analysis of today's matchups and a chance to look ahead to the second end of our opening Saturday doubleheader here on ABC. Another freshman, Adrian Arrington, is in the game for Michigan. He's the receiver at the top of the screen, number 16.
They really like him.
They're going his way. Couldn't pull it in. Pass broken up by Ryan Redd, the junior cornerback.
I was going to say, they really like this young man. He has great athleticism, and he jumped up really high. It didn't come down with him. You can see the way he leaped and got high and got the ball at the highest point right there. I'd have to say, Braylon Edwards, when he gets to be his age, he'll make that one.
You know, we were talking about the game that Henne had, and you're getting a pretty good look right there at Clayton Richard, the quarterback. I think the MVP of this game overall is 29-year-old Scott Loeffler, the quarterback coach. Might be the hottest quarterback coach in the country right now. John Navarre credits Scott with his development. You'll see what Henne did, so composed after the early start.
I can't imagine what getting Henne ready for this game based on the 2 or 3 days' notice.
3rd and 9 for Clayton Richard. Sophomore looking for his first completion, first touchdown. He got Braylon Edwards, and they will say he is out of bounds at the 1/2 yard line. Edwards made an NFL-type move, trying to get the ball over the plane, and we could.
I don't think he did. He got his leg over. His leg went over, but the ball didn't break the plane. That's a good call, although he argued it.
It was close.
Let me tell you.
Watch, they're laughing about it, but he meant to get the ball over, but his leg went over first, and the ball never made it.
You watch Richard Clayton go over his receivers, check down 1, 2, 3. Watch his eyes. Right here, here.
Yeah.
Unbelievable job now.
All right, now see if he gets the ball in the plane. Watch, his right leg goes over the line. I don't think the ball does.
It might have
until it was outside the pylon.
It might have too late.
I don't care. It was a heck of a play, boys.
Costing Edwards a 3rd touchdown. Here is Jerome Jackson up the middle, and he's in for a Michigan touchdown. Let's see, the line judge is coming over to the official. I don't know if we had a Michigan player head upfield a little bit too early. It looked like the fullback, Obu Olibo.
Defense.
Nope, it was offside on Miami.
Decline. Touchdown.
All right.
Now, Braylon Edwards might have had his play review.
That's right. He might be saying, please review that.
Review that. I need that touchdown.
Oh, he's going to be such a great player at the next level. I'm going to tell you. The body control that he has, along with the hands, the attitude, and the maturity.
Let's see. We've hit both uprights here the last couple of kicks.
What do you say we split them babies?
Rivas knocks it through. The punter out of Finley had the hold on that one. Jerome Jackson, special team standout last year out of Saginaw, Michigan. He gets in the end zone. Braylon Edwards had the highlight grab to get him close. He was out of bounds after he moved the ball over the pylon. Jackson took it in.
Great picture.
Michigan scored 3 touchdowns in 2:45. Well, Ryan Robinson, who's been this return specialist for Miami of Ohio the last couple of years, had a great performance here today. That fumble on the last kickoff return, he got spun around, took a shot. They're checking him on the bench, so he will not be back to return this kickoff. 43-10, Michigan leads. Brandon Murphy will get his chance to take Troy Nienberg's kickoff back.
I know they're happy not to see Robinson back there.
Yes. I know the special teams coach is anyway.
This has been the best part.
Yeah,
Kickoff coverage has been good.
I agree.
Kirkpatrick also back to receive. And here comes Murphy with it. Brandon is pulled down at the 15. Kickoff coverage has been great. Let's get an update from New York. And once again, here's John Saunders.
Mike, no quit in Bowling Green, down big to Oklahoma. They score an offensive touchdown, and then Jason White is picked off by Keon Newsom. 28 yards on the interception return for a touchdown. And Bowling Green now within 13 of the Sooners.
John, we learned about this conference last year. Tim mentioned it earlier, that great Saturday, third week of the season, when the Mid-American Conference came up with great wins over the Big 12 and the Big East. Road wins, too, for that matter.
No question.
And the SEC with Northern Illinois going down to Alabama. Mike Kokel is the new quarterback, and the redshirt freshman gives to Luke Clemens. Takes it out to the 22-yard line.
Well, Miami started to make a comeback as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. 24 of 30 points on turnovers. This one made by Ernest Shazer. Josh Betts never saw him, never looked off, didn't throw it away. Then out of rhythm, balls on the ground. Here we go again. Marcus Curry, number 30, picks it off. Michigan in business. And how about the catch by Braylon Edwards? Wham! Between his knees, makes the catch, touchdown. And all of a sudden, what was a very close ball game now is 43-10 Wolverines.
43-10, and Michigan, Tim, only really has one long drive down the field. Nice drive, nice throw by Kokel, but it was not pulled in by Mike Larkin. Incomplete pass. Kokel, out of Warren, Ohio, got a chance to play in the game against Indiana State. Oh, they're going to rule that a catch, by the way. They're going to rule a catch down by contact and out of bounds. So give Mike his 8th completion of the year. He went 7 of 10 against Indiana State in that opener last Saturday night.
I mean, even though now you're out of reach, if you're Josh Betts, don't make the foolish throw. Show some composure here. Don't try to go out there and throw it in the gap. I'm sorry, I got the backup quarterback now. Matt Kokel, right. Yeah. Kokel came in, had some turnovers last week. And Kokel needs to make sure he doesn't do those same mistakes today.
That's right, Terry. He turned it over the first 3 possessions of that game, then settled down. You know, always talk around these parts here in Ann Arbor of the scheduling around the Notre Dame game. And for how many years has there been angst over, hey, did you play a game before the Notre Dame game or the Michigan game, both in South Bend and here in Ann Arbor? This year it was Miami of Ohio that got a game in, albeit against a 1AA school, before Michigan got to play its opener. But Michigan and Lloyd Carr successfully petitioned the NCAA to practice at the same time Miami got started on its practice, as Kokel is brought down.
It's a good
Michigan
point,
had the practice starting on August 5th.
It's a good point. Next week when they go up to South Bend, Indiana, they're going up there with an attitude. The Wolverines have not won in South Bend since 1994. I can guarantee you they're going up with their game faces on. You look at this schedule. Michigan has games at Notre Dame, at Purdue, at Ohio State. Don't forget, the Wolverines, as we said, the last 2 years, they lost
to Iowa. And the Hawkeyes going to come in here the last Saturday of September.
But still, with this quarterback situation, this is a very, very talented Michigan. But with the situation with the youth quarterback, you take these turnovers away today that Josh Betts had, and you wonder really how good this team's going to be when it comes to winning the conference or running the table.
Ryan Biesing dropped Kokel's pass there. Called Ryan's brother earlier, playing over on the defensive side of the ball. John, the starting linebacker. And Miami of Ohio is going to punt it away. Miami of Ohio in the top 20 in most wins in college football history. They've won 625 games. Michigan's #1. They'll go up to 834 here. And you talk Michigan Notre Dame as they meet next week. 2 all-time win leaders in college football history go head-to-head. A nice opportunity for Grant Mason to get in for a punt return. He'll take it out to the 29-yard line. Guys, give me your feeling on some of these games coming up as we settle in for Game 2 of our opening September Saturday doubleheader. Oklahoma State, UCLA, Wake and Clemson with a league opener for your brother, Terry, and then Michigan State taking on Rutgers.
Oklahoma State's playing very well. Clemson got beat big last year against Wake Forest. They got to win this game, and I think Rutgers is going to get Michigan State. Great
UCLA
game.
gets Tab Perry back. Carl Durrell needs a win badly. Oklahoma State coming to their house this year. That's a big game for the Bruins.
That's coming up next here on ABC Sports Championship Television. Of course, we'll have a game tomorrow with Syracuse taking on Purdue. And speaking of Syracuse, Mike Hart, the true freshman out of Syracuse, is in the Michigan backfield, carrying it for the first time and taking it out to the 33-yard line.
You know, I missed that punt return. Steve Breston, how do you think he feels? He's one of the best punt returners in the nation. and nobody knows who he is today.
He's been overshadowed, to say the least.
Well, they like Mike Hart. They think he's just a talented young runner that's going to continue to develop. Talking to Lloyd the other day, I can't believe that he's been here 10 years as the head man. I mean, it just seems like yesterday he took over as the head coach.
Well, he's done a fine job, and the band came and played for the team during Thursday's practice. It was an emotional experience to watch the band members play for the team.
Close swing there from Mike Hart, who's kind of eluding a bunch of tackles and gets it out to the 32-yard line. You mentioned 10 years as the head coach. Timmy, it's 25 as an assistant coach or head coach. 25 consecutive years of fall Saturdays on the Michigan sideline for Lloyd Carr. Only Benny Oosterbaan has more years on the sideline at Michigan. Lloyd ties Fielding Yost this year, assistant and head coach combined, total years of service.
When you think of the great coaches here, of course, you think of Yost, you think of Fritz Chrysler, you think of Lloyd Carr and Bo Schembechler, but Lloyd Carr has guided Michigan in New Year's Day Bowls each of the last 8 years. That's impressive.
Clayton Richard, tall in the pocket, pass dropped by Carl Tabb right at midfield, about let's say maybe 1,000 yards away from where he played his high school games, across the street at Pioneer High School.
Caught him in a bad place, those hands right there. But the poor defensive line for Miami, they're exhausted. They cannot put the pressure on. Clayton Richard had forever to throw that football.
Terry Hepner's looking up at that scoreboard, 43-10. He sees his team has held Michigan to 260 yards. His team only has 244 yards of offense. But those turnovers all turned into Michigan points here this afternoon. Mike Larkin catches the punt at the 19. Maybe it's not Ryan Robinson. Maybe it's just his special teams. They give you a lot of room.
Well, you know, again, you see the wall set right there so well.
Good. Very, very good. .205 to go.
Pontiac drive summary. Look at all the turnovers.
Oh.
Unbelievable. Miami of Ohio just couldn't get it going. Interception. Lost it on downs. The fumble. That's the one that kind of changed things dramatically. The punt, had to give it up. Field goal touchdown. You thought they're back in it, and all of a sudden the last 2 interceptions that Josh Betts threw, never saw Shazer, and then dropped the ball and threw it right to Marcus Curry.
And then fumbled the kickoff, and boom, that's 19 more points. Mike Kokel spinning out, running for his life. He's pulled down at the 45-yard line. You know, Susie Schuster's been with us on the sideline, done a great job. Susie, pitch hitting here, came in late. We want to say hello to Sam Ryan.
Absolutely.
Who's under the weather. Sam scheduled to join us on our games here this season. She's under the weather back at home. Sam, we got your email this morning. Read it to the whole crew. We hope you're doing well, and we can't wait to see you again real soon, pal.
We sure miss you, Sam.
Yep.
You know, you have to think how this Big Ten's going to shape up this year. A lot of new quarterbacks, you know, a lot of unknowns going on. Now Michigan, I think one of the preseason favorites, has got a quarterback situation. Ohio State, new quarterback. Wisconsin, a new quarterback. Iowa, a new quarterback. Going to be interesting.
Kokel is pressured, and the pass is incomplete. That's right. Other than Kyle Orton at Purdue, who everyone's going to see tomorrow when Purdue plays Syracuse here on ABC at 1:30 Eastern. The other quarterbacks who returned are all teams that finished in 7th, 9th, or last in the league. Illinois, Indiana, Bass at Northwestern,
Penn State,
who had a great
Zach
performance,
Mills.
and then Penn State with Zach Mills coming back as the starter.
You know, you think of this conference, this is going to be the year of the defense in the Big Ten because all the quarterbacks seem to have changed. You know, you have 6 of the top 7 quarterbacks from last season are gone. The top 3 rushers and leading receivers are gone. Defenses in this conference are loaded this year.
I'll be interested with Ohio State with their 14 players drafted in the NFL, more than anybody else ever, how much they're going to reload and not have to rebuild.
How about another turnover? Jacob Stewart's got that. Jacob Stewart looking to take it to the house, and he's pushed out of bounds by Kokel at the 20-yard line. That makes it 33 yards in the return, and an 7th turnover by Miami of Ohio. I've lost count how many times they've given it up.
This is unbelievable. It's killing Terry Hepner. Terry Hepner, a very emotional guy. You know, he loves Bill Parcells, and he reads his book, Finding a Way to Win. That's what he says. His defensive philosophy is find a way to win. Today, they've almost found a way to give it away and take themselves out of the ballgame. That right there shouldn't have been thrown into coverage, and then when it was tipped, I mean, this is just uncanny, the number of turnovers that Miami's had today.
Well, they're out of it. You know, when I coached, what I was taught, you know, if I'm going to get beat, I really don't care how bad once it gets to a certain point. As long as my players don't make foolish mistakes in judgment. And some of these passes have been foolish mistakes in judgment.
First down, the draw to Mike Hart. Takes it inside the 20-yard line. Final 90 seconds here. Time for our Chevrolet Players of the Game. We'll go Ryan Robinson, the great punt returner from Miami of Ohio. And how about Chad Henne? I agree with you, Timmy. Even though a couple of touchdowns from Braylon Edwards, for the true freshman to come in here and do the job he did, I think is really solid.
No question. He starts out, he goes 2 for 5, 23 yards. After that, he goes 12 of 19, 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. Really settled into the game.
Now, number 7's back in at quarterback, but it is not Henne. It's Spencer Britton, the sixth-year senior.
If you have trouble confusing them, this is the lefty.
That's right, and the taller one, too. Spence was at San Diego State and went on his LDS church mission. He's had a shoulder injury in the shoulder. Spencer was telling me he just never responded this year, so he's really kind of limited to handing off. He can throw it a little bit, but odd to see 2 players wearing the same number play the same position in a football game. And I think the NCAA should outlaw double
I agree
numbers.
with you. I agree with you, but there's so many guys now that you got to have it.
Well, dress under 100 guys for a game. I understand why, and I'm not saying it for an announcer standpoint, I think just from the fans. Mike Hart galloping up the middle, trying to smell that first touchdown. Not going to get it here today as he's stopped at the 6.
But Mike, it's not the total number of players that's the problem. What happens is, by rule, you have to wear certain numbers for certain positions.
Right, exactly.
And certain positions, you have more guys.
And it's easy to do in the NFL, but you can't do it in college.
Exactly.
Because of the roster size. Guys, a final thought on Michigan here with their 33-point season opening win.
Look awfully strong, really came on, and they were in a ball game early, but they just continue to do what they do best. That's play Michigan football. They forced their turnovers, capitalized when they had it offensively, and they were much deeper.
Still my favorite in the Big Ten preseason-wise, but with this quarterback situation, that's not a real strong feeling right now.
The 834th win in the history of the program. More than anyone else, Miami of Ohio falls to 1-1 here on the season. And the Red Hawks will head on back. They hope to be back in this area. They hope to play at Ford Field in downtown Detroit in the MAC championship game the first week of December. Braylon Edwards, one of the stars, a couple of touchdowns, 6 catches, 91 yards. The true freshman Henne, 14 of 24 for 142 yards here on the day. 7 turnovers, the story of the game for Miami of Ohio. They got themselves back in it in the third quarter, but then allowed Michigan to pull away. Final score 43-10. Men, we'll see you in Columbus.
This was fun, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Look forward to the season.
Terry?
We'll be there, fellas.
Terry Bowden, Tim Branch, Susie Schuster, Mike Tirico. Thanks for watching ABC Sports Online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Now to John, Craig, and Aaron Taylor in our New York studio. John.
All right, Michael, thanks a lot. The 7 turnovers, you heard him talk about it. Michigan did capitalize on that, and that was the big difference in the ballgame.
Well, you know what, though? We're going to talk about a lot of different things, and Braylon Edwards is a great player. How about Chad Henne? A freshman comes in and plays quarterback? I thought Chad Henne was the story of the game. That guy can play.
I tell you what, Michigan looked good, came up with some big turnovers, but I tell you what, those guys have to get dressed. Their special teams problem came to bite them in the butt last year. They got to get that corrected.
Miami of Ohio had the nation's longest winning streak at 14 games. It comes to an end as the Wolverines get the victory. We'll be back in a moment.